Alrighty, I have started the recording. Welcome to session 38. We're getting close to the end. Before we begin this day, let's just do some bookkeeping from the previous day. Who would like to give a retelling of the previous day's adventure? I will call upon each of you at some point, so feel free to jump in. What did your character do in the last session?
So last session we were investigating the Blade Breakers.
Yes?
Francis was there. I think we had all the triplets out to play. He helped by using the sticky sticker on his shoes to climb up the roof. We were breaking into the house of the lady we had investigated prior regarding a tax issue. And Francis was able to bring Wompy and Trompy up to the roof so that we could sneak in through a window on the second floor or somewhere up and beyond the first story. And then at some point we snuck into the basement after doing a little bit of investigating upstairs. I believe that Francis helped Wompy avoid detection by... Actually, I'm not even sure how, but oh well. I have a note on the that Francis helped Wompy get to the basement. And we confiscated the quills because we found that the lady was doing drugs. So we confiscated that to turn into the authorities. And other than that, Francis helped by creating a stable meta aether to help Elros attempt to make everyone invisible. Though we didn't end up succeeding at that, but we tried. And that was Francis's part of the adventure.
Speaking of getting that quill, Trumpy's developing some pretty sticky fingers when it comes to raiding people's houses and other effects, and using plunder was able to locate the illicit substances.
Plunder, and you got a new talent. I don't know if you got it completely, but you at least made use of a talent that modifies plunder,
Yes.
called Treasure Hunter. Well, very good. A character point for both of you. Who's next?
Well, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Elros, he, let's see here. He went into the front door and he was the one that helped distract them by trying to talk to them about the front person about potential opportunities to increase their range of stuff for goods of smelting and I think crafting and stuff. After that, he tried to he caused a distraction by turning a pot into something else in front of them, which caused them to be distracted so that certain people could do things and sneak off and stuff. And after that, he tried to make people invisible, but it didn't work.
Very good. A character point for you.
Oh, Wapi went along with their triplet siblings and was part of the team that discovered the quill. Then after we took that, Wapi revealed that they can now turn into a falcon after having studied the dream that unveiled the druid potential. Similar meditation, and easily tracked them to the hideout, where Wampy also, after the failed invisibility spell, just decided that actually they were invisible now, and got the recording that has slam dunk evidence to justify a raid.
Indeed.
Wampy also now has a staff, which I think we did at the end of the session.
Yeah, you guys finished up early, so you did a little shopping trip on your way home. Very good. Character point for Wambi. Who's next?
I can go. So Chris Azar went along with the front of the house group, and eventually was trying to cause, I guess, a doubt and distraction. I don't know how I want to phrase it.
Distraction is a good way to do it.
And just ended up looking like a thief and looking like he was stealing shit as he took a painting off the wall. And he is terrible at looking nonchalant, apparently. And but thankfully we're children, and Reggie was partially able to talk them out of it, thinking that I was actually stealing something. And then we were ushered out shortly after. And then I think that made me realize I also tried to help with magic, even though we failed. But we're kids and we tried to help.
Yes, indeed. And while Reggie did help you out in the end, Reggie did initially disown you. He kind of threw you under the bus at first. But yes, got there in the end.
It's true. I chose to forget that part.
Very forgiving of you. Character point. And Ed, you're the last one.
So I was mostly playing the adult at this thing, other than the people that were upstairs stealing stuff. Reggie went in to talk about business opportunity with a nice lady, and was surrounded by thieving chaos monkeys. That was pretty much my experience. I went in, I did potentially talk her into some business proposition, and I found out there's potentially competing mining guild or artisans guild, smithing guild kind of starting up, but that probably is not going to happen now, given that she's under investigation for drug possession, as far as I can tell. So.
Yeah, there's like a chance that she'll get leniency if she flips on her suppliers and testifies against them, but it's not going to look good for her in the community at large. Like, politically, this is really bad for her, which may be a big setback to the crafting community getting themselves organized. So that's unfortunate. You did discover, however, that she has been in communication with the Petrish, and she's been trying to reestablish a trade with them for raw materials. So have a character point. Your characters that were at school the previous day, make sure to give them all their experience point. And let's see, does anybody need to make any rolls for their school activities? I expect Bax probably does.
Zara does as well. I just need to look up what I need to do really quick.
Cool.
I would like to do an expert sword drill.
Okay.
It says vigor or agility, so it's just one test, I assume.
I did not quite hear your question. I'm sorry.
For the expert sword drills, it says mastery merit test, difficulty 7, vigor or agility, so it's not both.
Right. This is to get the mastery token, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So this one isn't do all of them. This one is pick whatever your best stat is.
Gotcha.
and give it a shot.
There's 8 successes.
Oh my goodness! I think you have a mastery token. What do you want to spend it on?
Let me see.
What's that?
Let me look.
Okay. You can use the mastery tokens to get mastery training if there's special stuff you want to learn from the mastery trainer, which you'll have an opportunity to do because there will be one more day of school after this. But there's also stuff you can buy from like a special shop. I have those at the bottom of the sheet there.
So with this mastery merit token, I can buy any one of these items.
Yes.
Holy shit!
Get an ATG shield. Dang.
Yeah.
If you don't use shields, of course. But I mean, it's way cooler than a shield, so.
The shield is very cool.
It has a lot of cool abilities. You may
I
also
assume
find the sword
anyone-
of particular. Yeah,
I already have a very good sword.
that's true.
Ooh, the badge is fun as well.
The badge is cool. The ATG utility shield is cool. I'll have to think on it.
Badge would have been cool like a long time ago.
Yeah, but maybe Bax will work for RIPD.
And so you know, there is a supply of the little marbles to power the shield at home because they're the same marbles that power the refrigerator that keeps the food cold. This is one of the advantages that the Applied Thaumaturgy Guild has found for using modular technology, is that interchangeable components can make it very easy for you to continue operating things as they're readily available.
So, quick question regarding the token usage. I've spent 3 sword tokens and a fitness token. Are those just gone and switched for mastery token? Or do I earn a token of some kind?
Well,
beyond the
yeah. So you've earned the token. So if you don't want to spend it, you can just mark that you have a mastery token in your merit tally.
And in regards to the fitness and sword tokens?
They don't get spent on anything other than training. So you spend those to do your training. Yeah, if you use them to get that mastery token, then yeah.
Okay.
Were you thinking of doing the private training with one of the master?
I am considering it, yeah. I'll
If there's a talent there that you want to have, that's definitely something worth looking at too. I'm looking at Bax's character sheet, and after the next day cycles, if Bax is in school for that day, then Bax will get 1 experience point and have exactly enough to buy a talent. Alternatively, if Bax goes on this adventure today, then when we cycle, Bax will have more than enough, because Bax will have an extra character point instead of experience point. So you'll be able to get that, plus have a couple experience points left over.
Awesome. I think I will refrain from spending my token just yet then.
Okay. And then, Kristen, you rolled a success. What were you going for there?
That was a failed attempt at learning esoteric channeling.
Okay.
Zara's just gonna keep trying. She's not ready, but I feel like this makes sense for the where she's really at in her magic career. So,
And, I mean, if you've got experience points, you can put them into the things that help you make that roll. There'll be one more chance to make the roll, which
cool.
will come up at the end of, middle of session tonight, I think. All right. If that's everybody who needs to make rolls. Perfect. Alrighty, let's decide who's going on today's adventure, because there's really only one adventure left. All the mysteries have been solved, except really for one. The one thing at sort of the core of what started all of this. The Shadow Man, the one survivor of that first day in which the orphanage in Oakbrine was attacked by the supposedly cult of the Empty Prince, from what you learned during your investigations at the trial. And that man is locked up in the Crimson Guard barracks. Now, for some of your characters, getting access to this guy is trivial. For other characters, they may need to find an inn. So who comes along today may change the shape of this little excursion for getting to the Shadow Man. But once you arrive, you'll want to have what you need and what you want to take care of whatever it is you want to do or say to this person, or find out from this person.
It's going to be a tough choice.
Yeah, I've already decided who I want to bring. I'm going to bring Kyle Leo,
Okay.
since he's Apthian.
Cool. Kyleo. All right.
Yeah, also he has the truth potion as well.
Yeah, force feeding this guy a truth potion, then asking him questions can be very enlightening.
The appropriate moment for this potion to be used has revealed itself.
Hey, your mic went quiet again.
The appropriate moment for the potion to be used has revealed itself. When else are we going to need to compel someone, really, really compel someone to tell us something?
So true. Jackie, which of your characters would you like to bring to this?
I don't know. I'm really torn. Each one of my characters would be curious about what this man knows and why he was looking for us.
True. I think that, all the kids would be curious.
Yeah, like every single one. So it's hard to say. I'll wait for Vivian and Kristen in case they're bringing the triplets.
I'm gonna not be bringing a triplet. I'm gonna bring Henri.
Okay. That narrows it down for me. I will wait for others to choose while I decide between Laika and Vax, if that's okay. Unless I'm the last person to choose.
I will say, if we've had a strong desire to bring the triplets for investigation agency reasons, I'm happy to switch.
You could. Now, the agency does not have any specific mission to deal with this person. The Bladebreakers, the agency did. They had a little contract from the Justicar. This is personal. This is about you kids. If it wasn't completely obvious from my explanation, if either Bax or Chryslisar goes with you, you guys can just walk right in.
In that case, backs.
As trainees in the Crimson Guard, they have access to this place without any questions being asked.
I don't have any skills, but I can get you in the door. Like, I don't have investigation skills. I can probably punch somebody or carry something heavy, you know? Like, if they try and fuck with you and I have my sword, like, it's probably gonna be really shitty for them if they're not very good combatants.
And, like, the Crimson Barracks, there's no reason you would check your sword at the door. Like, you're supposed to have your sword there at all times. So, yeah. Of course, this person is in a cage, but if your plan is to open up the cage and force feed them something, maybe some physical capability would not go amiss. Who knows?
I will, unless Troy really wants to bring Crystalzar, we'll bring backs.
You could bring both.
Could bring both, yeah, if he wants to bring Crystalzar.
You could.
That's totally
Troy,
cool.
do you want to bring Crystalzar for their sort of backstage pass, or would you like to bring Kofric for medical expertise in applying the potion? Or would you like to bring Mina for shipwriting skills, which I don't think applies here, but you never know.
You never know when you need a boat. You could always need a boat.
We like go through a psychedelic experience. She's like, "See, I have crafted you a mind ship. Here we go. Going on a psychedelic mind ship adventure. Fuck it."
We're literally in the desert. We could need a boat. Could always need a boat.
The Apthians do use boats in the desert.
Sand skiffs.
Kyleel is medicine, right? Kyleel does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
sort of
you partially
Apthian
made the
medicine.
potion. I mean, like we combined made it.
That's right. You guys made that potion working together. That was a combined Kofric Kyleel concoction.
I don't know. I think I'm trying to remember. I think Kofric was the one there last time, so it would make sense to close the loop that way. But again, I'll fall to if I can bring Crystalzar for the easy if we want to do that. So, but I would be leaning toward Kofric.
Does that answer your question, Jackie?
I will bring backs.
All right. Bax, Kofric, Kyleel.
Henri.
And Nest.
And oh yeah, that makes sense for Nest as the sort of mother caretaker figure for the group.
Wallopy would have possibly been the better investigator, but I think that Nest would be more applicable here. Also, if it's okay, can I quickly buy Nest a like scepter or something?
Yeah. Yeah, as a wizard, that's very appropriate. Yeah.
I'm just going to roll all. So roll.
We'll say you picked it up at school. Yeah. There's wand shops like just up and down the street.
All right. 2 successes on my roll there. Anybody want to loan me a? Actually, no. Is it? I think it's reasonable for Araxi to loan Nest a precious gem to get the quality 8.
You might as well do it now because like you're in right now this sort of sweet spot in terms of war preparation. Like in a month, the available quality of material is going to plummet as everything is poured into the war effort. So this is like the last chance to get really good quality stuff.
Yeah. All right. So she has a quality 8 scepter. I also want to get her a shield, but she is broke now.
Alrighty. And then, last but not least, Ed. Which of your characters will be coming to this?
I mean, I think Mari.
Okay.
She's the one to talk to the shadow person first. She's the most curious about this whole situation.
That makes sense. Alrighty, Mari, Bax, Honore, Kyleel, Kofric, and Nest. A good set of characters. Alright. It's the morning. You guys are getting ready to go. The student or the children who go work at the docks, like Shari and Mina, they are already gone. They get up at like 4 in the morning. But before you head out, there is a knock at the door, and Radico the Bard appears. Yeah, air quotes around those docks. Radico the Bard and Galista, the Faithanok warrior hero, 7 foot tall, extremely muscular woman with a quiver on her back that contains what appears to be siege weaponry, like the kind of bolts you would load into a ship-to-ship ballista. She and Radico talked to Miss Mabel, and it seems that they had some kind of an accident out on the barge involving the improper storage of eggs. And now the whole place smells like rotten eggs, and they're basically asking if they can crash at the orphanage while that situation is... while the whole barge is just hosed down. So yeah, they're crashing here for a bit, but that is a minor concern as you guys head out to go on your little quest. With Bax present, you get into the barracks immediately to discover that the miller is there at the barracks with what looks like an engineering team. If anyone is curious as to what is going on with the miller, you are free to go up and ask, or you can just walk past it and continue into the barracks.
It's strange to see you here. What's this weird mechanical thing you're working on, this Galileo?
Well, there says, I complete surprise, I got a military contract. It turns out the Crimson Guard are concerned about magical communication reliance because they're worried that the enemy might discover counter magics that prevent the wizards from sending their magical messages back and forth. And so they've hired me to refurbish the old light messaging system that it was built into the tower here in the barracks. And he points to it's a pretty substantial tower. It always kind of looked like it's just a lookout tower. But he explains that it actually is so much more, and that it can send messages great distances entirely mechanically with no magic necessary. He invites you up to show you how it works if you'd like to see.
As a kid, yeah. It sounds like definitely like a bright idea.
Cool. Does everyone want to sort of get sidetracked by this, or do you guys want to split the party?
I think Henri will split off and keep heading in deeper.
Okay.
I think Nest will as well.
Nest and Henri stay on the ground, so we've got Kyleel going up.
I'll go with Nest and the other.
All right. Bax will stay on the ground. Mari?
Mari's super interested. but she's going to stay focused on the mission.
Okay. So it's just Kyleel? Or what about Kofric?
I don't know what he'd be interested. I guess he'll go with Kyleel.
It's a feat of engineering, is what it is.
Yeah, that's the way he'd look at it. So he'll go up to look.
Okay. And is Mari tempted by the feat of engineering?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would say that Mari's maybe a little bit mentally distracted at this point?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So the two of you start climbing the tower, and then the other four head in to the barracks. Bax, you are met by your instructor, who congratulates you on achieving a mastery token at such a young age. Is extremely impressed and is excited to find out what you're here to do today. This person is not barring your way in any way, shape, or form. They're actually interested in you as a person. They're proud of your success, and they want to know what cool thing you're up to now.
Thank you. We're talking to a prisoner in regards to the Aptian threat. My friends and I are actually working on investigations into the matter. And, we've proven successful in previous endeavors, such as the trial of Lorpin and the exposure of a quill seller in the area. And we feel that this is an important matter we can investigate.
The mention of the quill, he says, "Oh, I heard about that. Actually, from what I understand, they accelerated the hearings to try and get arrests right away. And I think there's a raid out, right now, and, fast-tracked trials are going to be happening later today. It's very exciting. Great job on that. Have you considered leaning your studies, I'm not saying away from swordsmanship, but also, on a parallel track with law enforcement?"
My friends and I have done a great deal of detective work, and it's something I'll definitely consider.
I think you'd be great at that. If you're as good with your head as you are with a sword, you're going to be amazing.
Bax is not. But maybe they can be one day, with enough study.
And with that, he wishes you good luck, and waves you on your way. While that's happening, you guys are climbing just an amazing amount of stairs, and at first it's like, wow, we're getting really high up, the view is really cool, and then it's just like, could the stairs please stop? There's been enough stairs. We'd really like there to be less stairs, but the stairs keep going. I'd like everybody to please make, I say the two of you who are climbing up those stairs, to please make a difficulty 3 athletics check, and failure will mean you take tax by the number you miss the 3 by.
Are we combining that with an aptitude, like agility?
I would recommend combining it with vigor. I think that makes the most sense.
So yeah, athletics and figure. Yeah.
What exactly are we doing?
Climbing stairs.
It's just for Kylie and Comfort.
Yeah, just those two. The four of you who are on the ground are not doing this.
Got it.
All right, Kyleel, you take 2 tax to wherever you want, and Kofric, you take 1 tax.
Freaking tired.
You can pull a muscle or just tire yourself out. It doesn't matter. Or you can slow down and fall behind and become embarrassed that you're not keeping up. That's also valid.
Yeah, I'm doing on composure.
Meanwhile, on the ground, the four of you have entered the prison block and have gotten to the specialized cell that this prisoner is at. You do not currently have keys to this prison cell. They do exist. You could try to go get them, but you might have to explain yourself as to why you're letting the prisoner out. When really you don't want to let them out, you just want to let yourselves in, I think.
Do I give them the whole speech again, or
What's that?
nothing? No
Okay.
worries.
The Shadow Man regards you from his elevated cage inside the prison cell, which keeps him away from the ground that he's afraid will attack him. Did anyone want to say anything or ask any questions of him, or do you want to try and pick the lock, teleport past the bars? You guys have an amazing bag of tricks, so I'm not sure exactly how you want to approach this.
I'm hesitant to pick the lock because I don't know if we want to let this person out.
I'm gonna say no on that one.
They're still in the cage. It's keeps them above the ground. They aren't out if we open the.
True, but that cage is meant for their psychological well-being, not for actual containment. The containment is done by the actual it being a jail cell.
Also, we would just be picking the lock of the jail while there's presumably people around. That's probably not the best idea that's ever existed.
Right.
You've had better ideas.
So, how many guards are in the room?
Two of them, they're up at the entrance talking to each other. They're not super concerned with you guys.
Cool. I guess I'll let them know. Hey guys, just coming here to do an investigation on this individual regarding Athene curses. I'm hoping we don't distress him too much, but please disregard if he gets a little bit anxious. We're going to try our best to control the situation.
Because you mentioned Apthin, I'm going to lower the difficulty from 3 to 2. Go ahead and make a persuasion check. Feel free to have one of your teammates make it for you if you're worried about your ability to persuade.
Persuasion. Henri can help.
This would be a cunning roll?
You're not lying, technically, but it could be a cunning roll.
Empathy?
Empathy would be, yeah, you're being honest. Yeah.
I have a single empathy dice to roll, so I will do that.
Is it possible to help?
Yes.
Yeah, any help you can give me would be fantastic because I am mathematically incapable of clearing this challenge.
This is a situation where if you'd gotten the badge, you could have done this as a leadership role. Just revealing the secret inner workings of this.
The Bax is a leadership of 0, so it would have been just as good.
Okay, no.
Bax is beautiful and dumb and strong.
Holy crap. All right. What is it you're saying to the guard there, Andre?
So I think Henri's going to kind of play up to the fact that they're probably I don't know, military types. So he's going to salute them and basically back up everything that Bax was saying. But kind of playing on the fact that he's being kind of honorable, I guess.
Okay, that is useful. So those can count as pips. Bax, do you have at least 2 dice to roll?
I do not.
So we're going to need somebody to do something that's more than just
Right.
helpful. Something that really actually talks directly to these guards.
Nest will come in and say, Yeah, we're here mostly ask some questions. I don't know if you were here at the travel or remember at the Traveler, but I was the one who if had that um discussed with the first mate of the sandwich about their things. A skilled independent investigator. But we are going to need access to the cell for that.
All right. Go ahead and make your persuasion roll.
I actually don't have as much persuasion as I think I would. But I do have a gift.
It's a good callback using the trial. Okay, Jackie, there's an extra 2 bonus dice, and you've got 4 pips from Kristen as well. So that'll be a total of 3 dice with 4 pips. There you go. You got
Crushed
it.
Thank you, friends.
And they go, "Oh, you brought a professional interrogator. That makes total sense. I remember that. You told some amazing lies to that ghost and got all kinds of information." Cat's being weird. Yes. So, good job. They go, "All right. Yeah. Do you want us to like use the keys to let you in and lock the door behind you, or do you want us to just leave you with the keys, and stand guard here? If he makes a break for it, we'll stab him."
You could lock the door behind us.
Okay. So he takes the keys, goes down, unlocks the door, lets you guys in. While all that's happening, meanwhile up on the tower, you guys have a freaking incredible view of the city. This is the tallest structure in the city. There are 2 other structures, though, that are pretty impressive. As you look south towards the ocean, which glitters in the distance, to the left, you see the great dome that is the palace, a circular structure that shows off the artisanship of the time period in which it was built, which was very, very long time ago. And it is still used and maintained to this day as a really impressive piece of architecture. To the right, you see the university, which is actually starting to near completion. They've been rebuilding this place since the original university disappeared. And directly south, you can see the giant hole in the middle of the city before it continues onto the ocean. But the new university does kind of tower up a bit. It's built more square structures and like a square wedding cake. It's got lots of layers that are kind of all a little bit smaller as it goes up. And all those buildings, because their layers are shrinking, there are bridges between them that, walking down the halls of the university, you never really noticed or appreciated that you were walking across these bridges because they're decorated as just halls that happen to be very well lit by some windows that are up high and get the sunlight in at really good angles. But yeah, it turns out the university is this series of these square towers with really cool, entirely enclosed walkways between them that looks really impressive, and almost no one gets to see it unless, they climb up here. The rest of the city is a sort of texture of buildings that are between 3 and 4 stories tall, with certain areas that flatten out noticeably, where there's marketplaces, and off to your right, the rail yards, which don't seem to be as defunct as from up here, as maybe they did when you guys were down there acquiring spare metal to make your barbell set for strength training at home. But yeah, this is a gorgeous view, and you can really see all that you've been doing all this time. You can see the scope of all of the city that you've come to make your home. And then the miller shows you the contraption. It uses a peculiar property of mithril, to collect and store energy and then release it in bright flashes of light. And with mirrors and lenses, it can angle it to point it at a great distance and shine it. And he explains that not only can we close and open a flap to make the light blink to convey messages using special codes, but there's this device, and he shows you, and it looks like a dish, like a bowl, basically. It's a round structure. He says there's a really cool property to this. Anytime you shine light at it, because of the angles, it doesn't matter how it's oriented, the light will bounce twice and reflect exactly back to where it was sent. So if an agent of ours in the field has one of these, and we shine, instead of flashing lights, we shine a steady beam at them, they can close and open their own flaps to send a return message back to us. And it'll always arrive exactly back to where it was sent. No magic, just mirrors and light. And a little bit of mithril because we need to store the light and then release it when we want it at nighttime for nighttime signals. But we do have a mechanism, so during the day, while the mithril is charging up and collecting energy, we just use sunlight to send messages during the day. And that's his lesson.
It's pretty sweet.
Yep. He starts fiddling with a little ATG box that's attached to the side of one of the mithril pieces. And it's like, the ATG loaned me this so I can keep track of the energy levels inside of the thing. It's a big device that looks very custom made. He says, I think I've got the system up and running. I think that, obviously magic is a little more convenient, but training our units in the field to use this will mean that we don't have to rely on it. Says I didn't actually design most of this. Most of this was here from 1,000 years ago, but I figured out how it worked and got it back up and running. He's very proud. Good news, going downstairs is not nearly as hard as going upstairs. All right, back down in the barracks, you guys will get to do one thing before the other two members of your party arrive. Have you told the guards that you're expecting 2 more investigators?
I will inform them now. I will inform them now that we have two additional party members.
Excellent.
Joining the investigation.
All right, they close the door behind you, and you are in a dimly lit room, so to speak. It's not meant for comfort, and but this guy doesn't like light. So the window is kind of curtained over, and the main light source is coming through the bars from the area just outside of it. You could open the window if you wanted to let more light in and kind of torture him that way.
I don't want to distress him, actually.
Okay.
I want to try and make this information gathering process as smooth as possible, because if he does get agitated, I imagine it will reduce our ability to talk to him.
That is smart.
If we do want to agitate him at any point, Nest does have light, so.
But, torture doesn't even work, so.
It doesn't, but, yeah.
Yeah, and that is kind of the key here is you want to get true information from him, probably. Unless you just want revenge.
I don't think we took the vengeful ones. If Araxi and Glup were here, it might be different.
It seems like you brought the more rational crew. Well, you guys get 1 round of attempts on this guy before your teammate shows up. What would you like to do? You could just relax, too. But whatever you want to do.
Doesn't our teammate have the recording device?
I think we had turned over the new one that we had.
Yeah, I don't think we have one anymore because they would have taken it.
Or what was it? Didn't we bring something we were going to use on this guy? Was it potion, true serum, or something?
Yes.
They have.
Okay. So that's what we don't have currently in our possession, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting
Correct.
for the other party members too. Yeah, here, for that reason.
Just make him thirsty.
Yeah, maybe right now we could spend our time endearing him to us. Like,
Good cops.
maybe, yeah, good cop. A little good cop action. Ask him if he's thirsty. Like, hey, how are you doing? Are they feeding you well? Do you need anything to drink or eat?
Okay. Make an empathy plus propriety roll. See if you can soften their defenses.
And Henri could use any help he get with this because he does not have propriety.
Maybe Ness would be a better candidate.
Ness does have propriety.
I could try.
Empathy, but that's it. Ness has leadership. So Ness can have whole chat outside as we're going in. It's like, okay, so we're going to try good cop, bad cop. You all just try and lower down some of his defenses, and then when things really get tough, that's when I'll come in. And at least I think I'll be able to give you some pips.
No.
I have given you a single pip.
Okay.
You hate to see it, but sometimes the dice do that.
If it wasn't for my gift, that I don't even give you it.
Okay. Empathy plus propriety. There you go. What is it you say to him?
Yeah, so basically just what I had said before.
Just
so,
offering water.
Basically just asking how he's been treated, if he's thirsty, hungry, needs anything.
He looks around sharply at all of you. He's like, "You're not here to make me into boots, are you?"
Not at all.
He's peering over the edge of his elevated platform at the ground, just in case roots start forming to devour him.
We assure you, you're safe. We're not here to harm you.
So they've been feeding me. They've been feeding me good food. Better than what we ate on the road.
The road, why don't you tell us some more about your trip to where you were arrested?
He looks at you and says, "You want to know secrets? I can't tell you secrets. The shadows won't let me."
Mari gets really excited when he says that. He goes, "I love secrets," and then he says, "I can't tell you secrets," and she looks really downtrodden.
So the road was bad. Shouldn't have gone on the road. It's made of dirt. The roots can come through the dirt. All my friends are buried in the dirt. I think anyone who hasn't said anything to him yet, you have a chance to, and then we'll have the others arrive. I think all of you have said at least something, if that counts as Mari's interaction.
She mostly wants to know a secret.
If you want to know the Shadow's secrets, ask the Shadows yourself. They've stopped talking to me. And Kafrik and Khalil arrive. The guard knocks on the door first to let you know that it's opening, and then opens it. You see he does have his sword drawn. He was a little worried that the guy might be out of his little hanging cage, but he's not. Kafrik, Khalil, you are ushered into the room. The door closes and locks behind you. You have the potion there, and here is the Shadow Man.
Yeah. It's hard to. I haven't seen anyone from my homeland in a long time.
Make a perception plus scholarship roll, please. Okay. He does not seem to respond to your comment about the homeland.
Can anyone make that roll?
Yes, but you would not be rolling scholarship if you're making that roll. I believe you would be rolling. Yeah, propriety or scholarship. Actually, I'll let either one fly.
Well, it's gonna be scholarship.
Okay. You're not 100% sure what it is, but there's something off about his reaction to mention of someone else from the homeland.
Did you mention where his homeland is?
He is not. Khalil was assuming it was Apthia. Or Apthis. Sorry, whichever.
Yeah, because it was involving the following of one of the gods from Apton.
He is supposedly following the Empty Prince, yeah.
Sure, this is which app this? The new one or the old one? Or the really old one, I guess. There's three of them. You know, there's like the new one, there's the really, really old one, and then there's the one from, Highford, basically.
I'm not sure myself. I was sent away before the ritual.
You know, Mari probably could pass the scholarship check. It's perception plus scholarship, if you wanted to make a go on it, based on his response to your question about which Apthis.
Okay. Is that focus or
Perception.
Perception.
The more you guys talk to this guy, the more and more you get the sense that maybe this person is not actually Apthian. He's not reacting to comments about Apthis in a way that matches with anything you've read about Apthis, anything about their sort of fanatical devotion. He really just seems kind of like scared and confused. He has devotion to something, but it's not lining up with what you've read.
Khalil will pull out a bottle of Astra and when was the last time you had a good drink?
So, they feed me. I get good food. Good food. Plenty of water.
Ashta's sacrilegious and at this, and will get you executed in those places. We're used to anyway.
Yeah, but that's going to help us determine his cultural alignment.
And he doesn't seem to recognize what it is.
There you go.
He's not accepting it or drinking it, but he's not recoiling from it either. He's just doesn't care.
This is just going to confirm straight up with it. You're not from Apthus, are you? So where are you from?
I don't have to answer your questions. He curls up into a little ball.
It be more helpful to all of us here if you would answer our questions. You know, we're just trying to help you out.
Just a quick meta question: is the Ashta the truth serum?
No.
That you're...
No, I've it's sort of a plan.
Think of Ashta as a combination between holy water and tequila.
Cool. Yeah. I know what Ashta is, but I was just wondering if Tice was planning on like spiking it or something.
I think that was floated at some point, but we nixed that as well.
Yeah. I also was wondering, is there a possible way to turn the truth serum into like a truth mist or like a truth something to be able to like, instead of having to force it down his throat?
I have no idea, but I'm sure you guys are very creative. I will tell you that if you do somehow manage to turn it into mist, you will probably also inhale it. So it would affect all of you. But who knows? You're welcome to try.
That sounds fantastic. How do we do it?
No. I'm good.
We're a bunch of kids. What are we going to tell the truth about?
Max will thoroughly embarrass themselves. They'll find a way.
So, Henri has a negotiation mastery. I wonder if I could negotiate with this person to drink the truth serum. Of course, it will be disguised as something else.
Okay, yeah. What do you want to offer in trade for something from this guy? A negotiation would involve two things: something you want and something he wants. Something you can give, something he can give. So, what are those two things? And we'll figure out what the difficulty number is.
What does he have in there?
He has a platform that keeps him above the ground because he's afraid of touching the ground. It's hanging from chains from the ceiling. There is a curtain that covers the window so that light won't get in. And that's about it. There are signs that his cell hasn't been cleaned maybe in the past couple days. There's like some food stains on the floor from him maybe not being super careful with his food trays as he tries to balance himself on this suspended platform. But yeah, he's wearing clothes.
How is it suspended?
There are 4 chains attached to each of the corners, which are then connected to the ceiling.
It's as much out of the earshot as possible. Like we could like disconnect those chains.
Like threatening him with what he doesn't want, which is to be on the ground.
Right.
Oh, you want a lie? I got something that might help.
It's not lying. It's either repairing the connection of the chains we sever, or to not sever the chains.
Yeah. Do you trust me? Because I have a fun little thing I can try.
I'm going to just go around the table and have everybody have an opportunity to say something to him to try to change his demeanor. And then we'll go around again and give all of you an opportunity to ask him questions and see what that change in demeanor has brought out of him. And then you can decide if you want to do something more drastic.
Yeah, instead of threatening his his mental health.
So let's. So I'll just do it in the order that I see on Discord here. So starting at the top, that would be Jackie. What would Bax like to say? Not asking him questions right now, telling him things to try and change his mental state, and you can pass if you want to.
And just to confirm, his
I
mental
will-
state is guarded right now.
Very guarded. He's balled up. He's got his sitting on his platform. He's got his knees up against his chest and his arms wrapped around his legs.
Sure. Okay. My approach will be this. You know, we here at the Crimson Guard have endeavored to make you feel as comfortable and as safe as possible. You'll notice that you're very securely tied up in the air, away from any magical roots, and the room is dimmed for your comfort, just to make sure that you feel safe in the shadows. Now, our efforts to get information from you are totally in good faith. We just want to make sure we have as much information as possible to keep other people safe, such as yourself.
Your words about your efforts do sink in, and you see he undoes his hands from around his legs and grips the chains, feeling comfort in the fact that he is indeed off the ground. Ed, what would Mari like to say?
Mari says, I've never met anyone afraid of roots, but I can understand they can be really dangerous. People trip over them and that sort of thing all the time. It's like some of my people are afraid of the sky, if you can believe that, But we live underground on the rock. There's no roots growing through the rocks. There are safe places. This is a safe place, she says. Good rocks on the ground.
As you say that, he notices that the cell he's in is made entirely of stone, and that gives him some comfort that maybe the roots can't come through the rocks. You see his legs kind of slack a little bit. Kristen, what would Andre like to say?
I think I'm gonna take it a step further, I guess, and say that there really aren't any trees or plants around this facility. Really, it's kind of in the central area of town, so it would pretty much be impossible for any roots to make their way in here.
Oh, did we lose Vivian?
Yeah, she DC'd.
Cool.
She'll probably be back on in a second.
Yeah. Unfolding the legs completely, he looks up at the window. It's like, no trees? It's almost like he doesn't remember being brought here. Like, maybe the Crimson Guard knocked him unconscious. And he doesn't quite fully comprehend that he's in a city.
Yeah, it's kind of banking on the fact that he may not remember.
All right, then let's move on to Troy. What would Kofric like to say?
That's a good question. trying to think of something to add, but I'm not.
It's okay. You can pass if you don't want to add anything. At this point, given how much more relaxed he's become, if you could find a way to help him get to the window to look out, that might help him confirm that he's in a city and not in a forest.
Do we have a mirror?
Great question. Do you?
Technically, I have my sword, which is made of metal, which is reflective. So I can raise it up to his eye level and point the flat of it towards the window so he can peer into it and see the outside.
Drawing a sword on him, however, may be considered aggressive. That's something you'll want to decide.
Is there anything in here?
In here,
Around
no,
it?
but Kofrik, you and Kyleel were just, like, dealing with somebody who was building shit out of mirrors.
Does anybody want to go run up a bunch of stairs?
Actually, Bax can do that.
Anybody strong and beautiful? And what were the other things you
Dumb
said?
and dumb. Yeah.
And dumb?
Yeah.
Want to go run up a bunch of stairs?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right. Bax, you get the guard to let you out, and
Do I need to roll labor and athletics to decide how fast I get up there?
vigor and athletics, and you need to beat a 3 to not take any damage from it.
I'm definitely
If you get-
arguing my Gunther outfit is helping me here. For sure. For sure.
If you get 10
Oh, yeah, baby. Let's go.
You crush it. You come back, you've got like a full-size mirror. It's way bigger than you even needed it to be. It's like, it's a mirror before he had a chance to cut it to the right size. I'm not going to make you roll to not drop it. That would be asinine. But, yeah. You get back with the mirror and you're able to show him. Yeah. And he's like, okay. I'm in a city. And he starts sort of getting a little more comfortable, leaning his legs off the side of the platform. Tice, is there anything Kyleel would like to say to him? You do now know that he is not actually Apthian.
From your act, so it seems like you might have been lied to, or at least been forced to do something that was out of your comprehension. So your attack on us wasn't as much of your fault as it was misinformation that you were given. So in those, I forgive you for attacking me.
All right. He accepts your forgiveness. He's grateful for it, and is now in a situation where he is much more willing to talk. Oh, her internet went out completely. Oh dear.
It's when you hotspot. How many minutes does she have? Is minutes still a thing?
I think it's,
What's
I think
your-
it's just data now.
Now it's data. At what point do you get throttled from your unlimited?
Depends on what plan you're on.
Just depends what network you're on.
Yeah, this session would throttle you.
Yeah.
Just done.
Well, we'll continue as best we can and keep our fingers crossed. All right, so now being in a much more relaxed state, you guys can now start asking questions or attempting to apply to convince him to take the drug.
I'm gonna ask a couple questions also to
Okay.
it's a little less shitty, I guess. You know, I know you're worried about the roots and stuff, but I can assure you, if you mean no harm to us, nothing bad will happen to you in that regard. But it seems that in other ways, potentially, you are in danger. Is somebody threatening you? Are you being compelled to follow someone's orders on threat of pain or death?
This is uh, the, the Empty Prince promised me safety and power, and that all my enemies would be hollowed out, and that good things would come to me. I wouldn't have to go back to that horrible place.
What horrible place?
He looks around. He's more comfortable now that he doesn't feel like he's going to be attacked. And this doesn't specifically violate any of his promises. So he's going to go ahead and say, it's like, where I grew up was bad.
You know, I'm a kid who's grown up during the Apathian Plague Wars, and there's a lot of places that are pretty bad. Where do you come from?
All right, go ahead and make a persuasion plus empathy check, and let's...
Cool, I'm gonna roll my 1 dice. If I can flexing help? Does flexing help? No, it doesn't help.
You're on a good track. I think we just need a different character to present.
Yeah, for sure. This would be great right about now.
Oh.
If anybody else wants to try the feelings and the reasoning and the logic, please go ahead.
If you can get him to drink the potion before your questions close him back up again, then he won't be able to lie to you. And he'll be, in some ways, compelled to speak on certain ways you phrase things. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Does somebody have cunning? Is anybody here a good liar?
What kind of drinks do you like to drink there?
Right, so it's water, but like cold water, like that water that comes from the mountains when the thaw is happening in the spring.
Does Mari have any idea where he's talking about?
Yeah, he's talking about a particularly nice time of year for getting cold water.
I mean, but they're like, cold water in mountains. Like, is that maybe where he's from?
Is there any villages
It does indicate that he is not from Celebre. He is from somewhere north, so either the Troll Mountains or some other mountain range. But given that he's here in Celebre, Troll Mountains are a good bet, and I think Mari's from the Troll Mountains, if I'm right.
That's right, yeah. I mean, Mari's concern is that, like, we can basically force feed him a potion of truth, but he's not lying to us.
No, but he has reasons to conceal the truth.
Yeah, but a potion of truth isn't going to make him... It's just going to make him not... It's going to make him tell the truth. It's not necessarily going to coerce him into telling us things that he doesn't want to reveal.
You just make sure what he does tell us is true.
Yeah, it doesn't... Unless it's extremely magical, it doesn't necessarily force you to answer questions.
What's the quality on the potion?
That is a good question.
So the quality on the potion is the difficulty he's going to need to overcome to try and conceal information from you.
I currently have it as an honesty potion 0 out of 0.
Okay.
Remember what we rolled.
So if he decides then that he's not going to answer a question, he can choose to stay silent under the effect of the potion. Yay, Vivian's back! Woo-hoo! Oh, they need you so badly right now.
It's like the right to remain silent potion.
Yeah, the Miranda rights potion.
You are muted at the moment.
Thing I was going to do was use my faith and use my magic to turn the bottle of truth telling potion into looking like a cold bottle of spring water.
Unmuted. Do we have a Vivian?
Testy, can you hear me?
Yes!
Yes.
Welcome back.
Okay, you have me on my phone. I don't have my character sheets or in front of me, but I can at least listen and. I think I remember what's on that sheet, so it should be fine.
Awesome.
I have loaded up your sheet on my monitor, so I've got access to it if you need it.
I can screen share it if that would make it easier.
I could, but I would then accidentally screen share a bunch of private notes for...
No, I could do it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I won't be able to look at it
For sure.
anyway. And also like do my rolls and stuff. So I'm just going to go off my memory. Nest's sheet is very easy. They have to save in all of their aptitudes and stuff, so it should be fine.
Wow, what a terrifyingly balanced character.
Yeah, that's scary as fuck, actually. I've never, ever thought to do that with a character, and now I'm realizing how crazy that is. That's a lot of EXP, dude.
Well, it's only 2 dice, but it means that regardless of what roll I make, I will be rolling 2.
That's fair enough, yeah. I went all bigger, what can I say?
And in the case of the persuasion roll that I think Jackie wanted you to make for her, you would be rolling 3. So the situation is they've got him calmed down by convincing him he's not in the forest anymore. Bax went outside and got one of the mirrors from that construction project and brought it back in so he can see outside the window and see that he is indeed in a city made of stone with no roots, no trees to swallow him into the ground. He's much calmer now, and Mari's been trying to suss out where his hometown is, as he appears to have grown up in the Troll Mountains, and that's where they're at right now. Bax had a question that they wanted Nest to ask with their superior persuasion and empathy, which was related to why this person's home life was so bad.
Yes.
So if you can phrase the question, I will roll the dice for you.
Yeah. Ness is going to just look at it and say, that sounds really, really rough. What? Why don't you tell us some more about it? Like, we're just here to help you out, you know? Get some, trade information.
All right.
I also should have 2 pips for my gift of emotional appeal.
Okay. So that'd be 2 successes. Okay. So what you find out is that this person basically had an abusive father, and almost no existing support system. Did not grow up in like one of the mining towns in the Troll Mountains. This person grew up in the foothills, under the Troll Mountains, in a extremely remote, like far from civilization, kind of hunting lodge. There was no community for them to sort of flee to, so they suffered their father's abuse for a long time, and then even becoming an adult, like still as an adult, just constantly being hammered. At some point, they found the Empty Prince, and that was their escape, and they fled to Celebre and beyond Celebre, and that's that's why they left, and that's why they like the Empty Prince. The Empty Prince promised that they never have to go back to that cabin where their father beat them.
I suppose we can assure them that promise has already been fulfilled with or without the Empty Prince's help, because as long as they're here and within the community, they don't ever have to go back. They can integrate back into society. I'm sorry if that was really quiet.
It was quiet, but not as quiet as you sometimes are. So I did hear it, and yeah, that's a good thing. So yeah, they are seeming a little more calm. All right, I think we're up to Troy. Did you have any questions you wanted to try to ask? Oh, and Vivian, you never got an opportunity to try and say anything to calm them down. Did you want to take a turn at that?
I think they're fairly calm right now. They sound calm, so I think it's been accomplished regardless without my help.
How old is this person from our perspective? Do we have an idea? Despite the raggedness?
Your guess is they seem to be about the same age as Miss Mabel, so early 20s.
See, for some reason, I thought Miss Mabel was like in her 30s or 40s, which made her romantic life like so fascinating to me. I was like, "You go get it, girl." But she's just a young woman, like out there living her life, which is equally valid. But matronly Miss Mabel is very exciting.
She's also got a huge responsibility if that's the age, right?
Yeah, it's actually kind of insane that she has this much responsibility.
Yeah, that's actually fucking nuts. She's raising like a gaggle of children, like 10 children.
Before you guys rescued the Burtail's mother, she had under her responsibility 21 children.
That's fucking nuts.
The number is now down to 18, but still. Yeah, the Burtails, they do come over to play during the day, but at home now they are going home to their mother, who has... The Crimson Guard has gotten her housing after her debriefing and her little award ceremony. And they had a funeral for their father. And yeah, they are now living happily. Just like a couple blocks away from the orphanage. Anyway, back to the investigation. So you found out that this person is not an Apthian, that the Empty Prince somehow promised them to free them from their father's tyranny, and sent them on this mission to attack you kids.
Yeah, I'll say something that'll kind of lead to a question, I guess. I'll remind, like we all come from an orphanage, whether our parents are gone or gone for good, whatever the circumstance. We've come to this city and we have so much opportunity to do things, which says that you can do that too. You're away from whatever that home was. What would you want to do?
He kind of sighs and he looks around and he's like, I don't know. I want to be free, but I like the sky at night, not in the day. Too bright.
I wonder if they can work in an observatory.
The brightness shows my sins. The darkness hides me. But
Maybe we need to work on the whole like processing this in thing.
he says like, but I need a little light. Starlight, moonlight. I need lights to read the messages.
Messages?
Mari says, I mean, you got your wish, right? It's always difficult bargaining with people who have your best interests in mind.
So two very important things were just said there simultaneously. One by Bax and one by Mari. He's kind of looking between the two of you, not sure which one to focus on.
What kind of messages are you getting?
Okay, so he focuses then on Bax's. Oh, the empty prince writes messages on the walls.
Oh, so you guys still talk?
He says, well, no, can't talk here. He looks around, and now you suddenly realize what Mari said was important. He says, I can't talk here. The walls are made of stone.
Does the stone hear you? Is the
The stone has never responded to me.
Mari says sincerely, it's never talked to me either.
He nods sagely, like they're sharing some deep secret. Only the wood talks.
Sure, he knows stone speakers. Or knows of them, anyway. Yeah, so I mean, she picks up the thread that she started and just says, well, like, when you make deals with people, especially if the people don't have your best interests in mind and aren't coming at it in good faith, it can be complicated. Like, it sounds like you made a deal to get out of a bad situation, and you're not in the bad situation.
He looks around and says, I am in a prison, sort of.
But you're not in the situation you wanted to get out of.
That is true.
The deal was never that you would be in a better situation, just that you wouldn't be in that one.
The empty prince did keep up their end of the bargain. Kyleel, I would like you to please make another scholarship check here. And let me know which aptitude you want to focus on. Last time it was perception. That did not play out very well, so I will allow you to take a different direction with that.
I'm going to go empathy then.
Empathy, okay. No, you don't hear anything in the timbre of his voice that indicates anything out of the ordinary to you. Honore has a magical power that they've picked up very recently, I think. Did you want to make use of it?
Yeah, I could definitely do that. Would that basically Anui's gaze allows me to see through things? I assume that also maybe includes into someone's thoughts, potentially?
You have no idea. This is one of the great risks of using this kind of magic, is that there's really no way of knowing until you try.
I want you to do it because it would be interesting.
Yeah, definitely gonna basically harness that power and point it at his head effectively.
Okay. I believe that one taxes you by 2.
It is a second circle.
Yeah.
Is that what the tax is? Yeah.
That's what the tax. So take 2 tax. If you don't have any other abilities that let you shift the tax into like a magic item or something, or a staff, a wand, or one of your your stamina, then the tax will just apply directly to your eldritch potential.
Got it. Cool. Okay.
All right, so everyone, you see Anre's eyes start glowing with this greenish purple light that starts turning into smoke, and the smoke then forms into a sort of luminous cone. It's a pair of cones, but the cones are merging, combining. Circles are radiating out like little plates of glass, appearing in the air and disappearing in a sequence, almost like they're poorly animated towards the person, who looks horrified all of a sudden, is just absolutely terrified by what's happening. They curl up in a ball, but then the show stops. Your eyes are still have a little bit of one eye has green smoke and the other eye has purple smoke coming out of it, and will for about another hour after having used this. But you have essentially done a sort of Inui level true sight on this guy, and you have had the following information injected directly into your brain. This person has no connections with any gods or demons. This is an entirely mundane mortal who not only doesn't have the power to commune with gods or demons, but has never been communicated to by any god or demon.
This is a straight up mentally disturbed person who needs basically lifelong support or medication.
Yeah, and so basically the Empty Prince is a demon, right?
Correct.
Okay.
This guy has never spoken to the Empty Prince, never communed with it, just hasn't happened. Not only that, he's never communicated with anybody else either. No supernatural being has connected to this guy's mind to show him visions on the walls or anything else.
It doesn't mean a non-supernatural being didn't do it.
A very clever observation.
Yeah, who would benefit from this guy believing what he believes?
Or who would tell him all of that?
Maybe we need to find out what the Empty Prince looks like what he thinks the Empty Prince looks like.
He also said the wood spoke to him? Not the stone?
He said the Empty Prince would not speak to him on stone. He would only speak to him on wood.
Does anybody have a object that is made of wood on them?
Yeah. Also trying to think of I have some weird feeling that has to do something with the circle in the woods. Back in the hometown where there was that whole...
Indeed, there was a corrupted space back in your hometown. Do you guys remember dealing with that?
Yeah.
And recently, some of your orphanage went up to the northern forest and talked to the guys that were hired to deliver alchemical ingredients to this guy that you're talking to right now, which would create that corruption through alchemy, not magic.
So many things to think about.
The only thing I have is herbs. I don't have anything. I don't have any wood.
Yeah. I
So
was
does he
thinking...
have book? Paper is technically wood.
I'll Kylo will pull out the bottle of Ash again. He'll little trick about this thing here is this is in my religion. This is used for Kael. Kael is a god that is against all these other like guys, whatever. And one of them he's sort of against is the Bone Prince. So um, if you want to get away from the Bone Prince, um, this potentially could help you with it. And I'll like offer him some ashta to like it's like Kyle. It's like Kyle is lies up, of course, but he also heals at the same time. You know.
So since you've mentioned that it's related to Kael, he backs away from it. He didn't know that, and he would have drunk it if you hadn't told him it was related to Kael. He was ready to reach for it. You said it's Kael. Kael is against the other gods, and he backed away because he doesn't want to upset the Empty Prince. He doesn't seem to know who the Bone Tyrant is.
You said you had troubles with the Empty Tyrant. So if you want, I can help you with that and this will help sever your connection away from the Empty Prince.
Are you getting
I think
the
you're-
Bone Tyrant and the Empty Prince confused?
I guess I am. Yeah. I can't. For some reason, I keep on saying the two, saying the opposite one.
Okay, yeah, this guy is the Empty Prince. He thinks he worships the Empty Prince. It's been established that he doesn't, but he thinks he does, and he thinks the Empty Prince is helping him. Yeah.
Nest is going to cut in and say, the first time you talked to the Empty Prince, how did that happen? Like, how did you two communicate?
I came home from checking the traps, and I saw that my father had been drinking, and that my mother was injured, and I didn't want to step through the door, and then a message appeared on the door, and it was the Empty Prince, and he promised to keep me safe inside. And so I went in, and my father was just bound to his chair by the chair itself. The chair had grown around him and held him down. And eventually he passed out, and when he woke up, he didn't remember what had happened. He was too drunk. The chair was back to normal, and the message on the door was gone. But since then, I got more messages, more promises, and in the end, he promised to give me revenge for what my father had done to my mother, in exchange for my service. And I found my father in pieces, and so I have come to do what I promised. He seems to have skipped a section of the story. You get the implication that his father's abuses did not stop on that night when he was restrained, and that something bad happened to the mother.
Seems like there's a lot of stuff that's happening in his mind. Do you think we want to see if our trusty bard can come help us with this? You know, he's good with the mind stuff.
Radico is back at the orphanage. He's going to be crashing there for a couple days while his raft is hosed down from Callista, having some difficulty with what is, from her perspective, really tiny eggs. Nothing at all like the giant ostrich-sized eggs she's used to in Faith and I. These chickens are not legendary.
Nest is going to turn away from it, like hush to the group, say it sounds almost druidic. Whoever this imposter is.
You go ahead and make a scholarship plus cunning roll for me.
God, rolling terribly tonight.
You do not know how the father could have been killed by druidic magic in that method, but everything else described can easily be accomplished with the shape wood spell.
So a mage then?
What do you say? He was in pieces?
Yes.
Do we have any ideas what could do that?
That depends on how horrifying your children's imaginations are. How many different ways can these kids devise to cut a person into pieces? I'm not sure that's a healthy question to ask.
Yeah, it depends on if it was used with like a weapon or if it was like a bear that decided to rip them apart.
And without access to like a fresh crime scene, you guys are probably not going to be able to tell the difference between mauling by a wild animal, which if a wild animal was there, all that would be needed is for it to be lured inside and the door closed, or if it was something else like hundreds of vine whips from all different directions, just pulling the guy apart. Yeah. Hire a mercenary with a giant axe. That'll do it.
Yeah, I was thinking like the bone tyrant, but I guess it just depends. There could be any. Yeah.
It's not supernatural. We know that for a fact.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's not god or demon. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not magical, but it's not a god or a demon.
Sorry, excuse me. It's non-deity or demon related.
And I'm guessing it's not far realm.
Not who?
Far realm. You know, like where the person is from. What's it called?
The Moon King?
The Moon King. Yeah.
No, it does not seem like the sort of thing the Moon King would do. You don't have direct confirmation of that, but who knows?
Henri's like, no, the Moon King would never do anything like that.
Murray says, you don't need magic to lose your limbs. And she just says, yeah, my family knows all about that.
By the way, Henri doesn't know for sure. He's just being like protective of the Moon King because now he feels really.
Henri might have an understanding though that the Moon King would need something in exchange. He wouldn't just do that. He'd have to be doing it to get something out of it.
True.
But Mari's comment is spot on that a dude with an axe could accomplish that.
Yeah. I think I'll I'll head out to go get the bard to help us with this mind stuff. That might help us.
Okay. I love that, like, you guys prepared this elixir of truth serum, and just by being nice to this guy, you haven't needed it.
Good news, potentially. My internet has turned from red to white, so I'm going to disconnect and see if I can reconnect.
Right on.
What does white mean?
Connected. It's a white life, it's good. It's a red life, it's bad.
Oh, I see. I'm used to red and green on mine, so I thought that was in like a middle step.
Well, if you think about it, it makes sense. Like, there's a fair percentage of people with red-green color blindness that would just not see a difference. Red-white makes a lot of sense.
We're gonna redo our streetlights.
The streetlights should have shapes.
That's true. I agree with that.
Like
100%.
I do not understand why all of them are circles. They should be different shapes so that you can tell in a black and white photograph what the light is saying.
Yeah, I don't entirely understand why we haven't done something like square, circle, triangle. Like that would have been that's enough.
Triangle for go, square for stop or pause or whatever, circle for the other thing. Like yeah, that.
And they still have location, so you still have bottom, middle, top. Like you have that, but the shape.
You don't
would
lose
tell you
anything, and you gain a huge safety feature.
All right, testing.
Welcome back, and I can hear you.
Awesome. I have no idea how my headset sounds, by the way. I've literally never used that as a microphone before.
Wildly, it sounded about the same.
There was like a, I don't know how to describe it. There was like a low grade static quality to it, but it wasn't like diminishing.
It was like a 3% reverb kind of thing, like really subtle.
That's good. And I also learned how to turn push to talk on mobile because I didn't know how that worked beforehand.
Alrighty, you guys, if you're gonna wait for Radico, you can wait for Radico. Radico is happy; he's got nothing else going on. Radico is not plussed with being in the city because there's so many people thinking thoughts around him. But he does agree to come.
Yeah, hopefully being in a jail will be a lot less people around him, so he'll be like a little bit more quiet.
And I'm going to say that the rest of you, while waiting for Radico, leave the jail and have a little lunch break, and then you all get back together when Radico arrives, and head back in.
Nest would like to procure a wooden board while we are out there.
I mean, there's practice shields, which are made of wood.
Basically, just needs just a regular wooden board. The size or shape does not matter.
Okay. A Ouija board?
It would work, but completely unnecessary. The wood's the important thing.
So you guys go back in with Radico. What are you going to tell Radico you're trying to accomplish here? Radico is not purely a mercenary for hire. Radico does have moral and ethical guidelines that they're going to follow. So what is it you want Radico to do?
We, I guess, tell him that we have suspicions that this person is not really. What they need is not prison, but serious psychological help.
We're trying to get information.
They've claimed that they communed with the Empty Prince, and we have, thanks to the Moon King, technically, we have confirmation that that is an impossibility. And
So someone contacted him to essentially do something, and we want to figure out who that is.
Yeah.
Radico smiles and says, "It sounds like he's told you everything you need to know then."
We don't know who he's talking to or who has been talking to him.
Do you think he knows who he's been talking to?
Doubtful.
I think he thinks he knows.
Yeah.
Radico kind of chuckles and says, I'm not going to be able to find anything in his mind that he doesn't have access to.
He's danced around some questions, right?
He did it first, and then you guys overcame those objectives.
Potentially looking at the times that he thought he was interacting with the Empty Prince might be able to we might be able to observe and see exactly what was happening, potentially to give us clues of who he might have been talking to.
Radicus says, "All right, I'm gonna go in and talk to him alone. I'm gonna see what he's willing to consent to, and I'll be back in a second." So he goes in. I'm gonna roll his dice here. Okay, he comes back out and he says, "All right, I am not going to connect your minds to his. He has seen traumatic things that he still needs to process, and I'm not going to show them to you. They're really horrible in there, but I can tell you that he's been as honest with you as he is able to be, and he was clearly influenced by somebody, but it's only clear to us standing on the outside. Somebody used magic to send him messages and essentially radicalized him. Tried to make him believe he was following the Empty Prince. I don't know much about Aphthis, so I can't tell you if the information he was given about the Empty Prince is accurate or not, but I mean, it wasn't the Empty Prince. Did you kids have any more questions?
Guess who did this to him?
Yeah.
We can answer that question.
Like, since like Kyle is known about like healing and like transferring and stuff, I was gonna see if I can probably try I probably won't take that much, but I want to try to see if I can transfer some of his his emotional trauma and stuff, so that he's partially healed from him, even if it has to transfer onto Kyle.
Explain that to me again. I'm not sure I completely understood what you're trying to do.
So he has a lot of like emotional damage and stuff. I want to transfer, because you said before that Kyle is about like not fully healing but like transferring stuff. So I want to transfer some of that damage away from him onto Kyle. Maybe potentially later heal himself, but like.
So that spell was meant to refer to physical damage, but you want to try and convert it to do emotional damage.
Yes.
You want to bring his emotional damage onto yourself.
Yes, to help him.
Okay. I'm going to allow this. But the apple that you eat to regain the full amount of health when you rest will stop working. The trauma will be too great, and you will continue to... You'll just only going to get one tax restored on rest forever. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. You do your thing. Tax whatever the spell requires. And he does feel a little bit better from his the trauma. Radico's impressed by your sacrifice there. Your nightmares are going to be trippy as shit, though.
This is I can use my costume here. Let's see. Since I play his brother Jonathan for healing, can I add stuff to it for like add medicine and empathy to my role?
Sure. That's what those traits are for. Very nice. For the first time in a long time, he's able to walk on the ground. Radico is beginning to pen a letter to the Crimson Guard recommending psychiatric care for this guy. Now, of course, they are still going to keep him in prison because he did attempt to murder children. So he's not getting out of that, but they're going to at least make some efforts to improve his psychological state. And you all guys get to go home. The mystery was never quite solved. You don't know who did it, but you've gotten all the information that you really can out of this guy, because he doesn't know who gave him the messages either. Somebody with the power to shape wood and hire people with axes or something. You get home, and yeah, you have a nice meal, you get a good rest, and the next day, everyone goes to school. It's the first day in a long time that everybody has, no adventure to do. There's schooling for everyone. So we're going to do a quick wrap up and restart of the session here. Everybody gets a character point for the adventure we just did. And then additionally, I am going to give all 3 of each of your characters, so all 18 kids are going to get another 9 experience points. Not character points, experience points. So, not spendable on automatic stuff, but you can invest this into just getting your builds finished, because this is the last opportunity you're going to have to level up.
All right, so let me understand this. So for example, Bax that I took out today gets a single character point and an additional 9 experience points, and so does Wampa and Trompy.
Wampa and Trompy get 10 experience points total because they both went to school. So they get 1 for going to school, okay. And then 9 for ending the mainline adventure before we enter into the final event. So I just want to go through each character. And to make things a little bit easy, I'm going to stagger everybody. So I'm just going to take everybody through their first character, second character, and third character as they are on my spreadsheet. Ed, what is Mari learning on this final day of school before we end the adventure? There will be more sessions here, but we're not going to have any opportunities to level up past this. So this is your final opportunity to spend experience points. What is Mari learning?
I mean, she's pretty good on learning stuff right now. She's been focusing scholarship and artistry, basically, and then refining her crafting abilities over the periods that she hasn't been around. But I think she's all right.
Okay. The number 9 was not chosen at random. It was chosen because that is how many points you need to spend to get a new talent, if you wanted to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, she's been in school for a while. She's been kind of learning new things as she gets them, but it's mostly advancing skills. So.
All right. Did you give her all of her rewards from this session?
Yep.
Cool, and it looks like she spent them all. So, perfect. Mari is a quite extraordinary scholar and actually fairly potent caster of certain types of things.
She doesn't have a large repertoire of spells, but she is decently casting.
Right on. Alrighty. Next up, Bax. This is Bax's final day in school. Bax has a lot of experience that Bax can use before doing anything Bax wants to do.
Let me see.
And since Bax has that token, I'll let Bax go ahead and just, if you want to spend that token on the shield, you can do that. Or if you want to spend that token, I know you only have a fitness token, but you can You can do your fitness test to see if you can get a sword token, and then go and try and do your mastery training if you want to.
I can roll for that, yeah. Give me a second.
Cool.
All right, I get my sword merit.
Awesome. So, mastery training is pretty epic here. So you spend your mastery token and your sword token, and you can learn some really cool talents from this teacher. Also, you get to make a roll to try and show up the teacher, and if you succeed, you get your mastery token back. So you could potentially get those level ups that you want, get the talent that you want, and still get your shield if you roll it.
What's the differences between sword mastery, expertise, and proficiency?
There is an escalation.
So I have to get mastery first, then I assume.
Yes, let me bring
I
up the
actually
Fluid
can't
Wiki.
pass this test.
What's that?
I cannot pass this test.
Are you trying to show off the teacher? So it's
No. I mean, it's a difficulty 9.
and you only roll.
8 at the most.
Yeah.
I would have to pump up my my vigor in order to get anywhere further, which I maybe could afford.
Well, if okay, so let me bring up the combat skills real quick.
Oh, I could certainly afford to raise my vigor.
If you do, though, I think you don't have enough to then buy the talent that you want, right?
Let me see. I have 3 character points, I guess, on this character.
And did you give them their 9 experience points as well?
He did.
Oh, and then you spent it already?
I have not spent anything. So I have 11 available experience points and 3 character points I can burn.
Oh, that's an 11. That is an 11. Okay, sorry. I was... Because of the font, it looked like a 1 to me.
Oh, no worries, for sure.
Then yes, you do have enough to do something awesome here.
So let me make my vigor a 4. And that gives me the bare minimum I need to pass. So
I'm noticing that Bax doesn't have any talents. There's so many cool weapon talents.
How do I use my character points to turn into EXP?
Burn.
Spent, not burned.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, spent.
I love that it just automatically does the conversion.
Oh, in that case, I don't have enough to buy a talent.
So you might as well get the shield.
Yeah.
Do you not? I thought you said you. Oh, you have.
I had 11 points. I had 3 character points left. If I spend 2 of them, that only gives me an extra 1 point left. Plus 3 if I burn the last or spend the last character point. So it's not enough to buy anything.
I just
In
want
which
to take
case, getting the shield is probably the best option.
Cool. I mean, that makes you a fully outfitted Crimson Guard at that point.
I don't have the armor or the cloak, but we're getting there.
And if you've got some money, you could get some armor. That'd be good. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, the crazy ones that Swordmaster Private Training taught, I think, was like bleed. Yeah, bleed was the crazy one.
What's the quality of the shield?
Quality
Display
6.
on
So bleed, your skill with the blade allows you to cause lasting debilitation damage to your target. Any sword you wield has torment, which you can pay 3 quality and let's see. Basically, it makes damage last. They automatically suffer additional consequences equal to the severity of the damage you deal. So it's like dealing double damage.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty wicked.
I never took properties on my sword, which I was supposed to do, but never did.
If you make it serrated, then it would have that.
I think I was supposed to take 2 properties, but I forgot.
I believe so, yes.
There were so many to choose from.
You might want to look at the Crimson Guard Sword, as I designed that to be a particularly potent weapon, and use that as sort of a guide.
The thing is I bought a sword, and I don't know from where. I don't remember anymore.
You had the blacksmith craft it for you.
In that case, it's a special personal sword.
It is a special personal sword, and you should have put 2 properties onto it. And if you would like some ideas of good properties, I suggest looking at the Crimson Guard Sword, reading what its properties say, and then copying some of those over.
I see.
Alrighty. Moving down the line, Kristen, Francis. What is Francis leveling up here?
So I was hoping to have Francis liturgically learn the Final Moments spell, which is the one where he's able to like see the final moments as someone passes away. Right
on.
So I don't know what I need to, if I need to do anything for that or just spend the points.
It's either 9 experience or 3 character points.
Cool. All right. I think I actually still have a character point to burn, so I might do something else with him, but I'm probably just going to just level up some things.
If you want to save the character point to burn during play, that's totally valid. We are still going to have some play. There's going to be a couple more sessions, maybe as many as 4 more sessions after this. I'm hoping to keep it down to 3. But this is the last opportunity you guys will have to go to school and level up before shit hits the fan. So, yeah.
Cool. What aptitudes are useful in spell casting? Or I guess that doesn't matter because those are liturgical.
Yeah, with liturgic stuff, I mean, focus can be, if you're going to be forced to make a roll, for example, like using channeling to try and get some of your cost back, then you'd probably be rolling focus, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Francis.
Alrighty, moving right along. Elros. What is Elros learning in his final day at school?
Elros is learning to become more cunning, increasing it to 3, and then he's putting his crafting up to 3.
Alright. Are you going to craft anything?
I'm not sure this second, because I'm not sure. I got a staff currently.
Sounds good. Then we will move on to Chryslisar. What is Chryslisar learning? And does Chryslisar need to make any rolls at Crimson Academy, or is Chryslisar going to SAU?
He's going to SAU. I don't think any roll. I'm not sure actually. I mainly want him to increase his arcane, which means I think I need to go with just the basic. I guess that's not a class specific thing.
Correct. You can just go to the library and study up. Or you can go to one of the classes where they practice spellcasting, the combat class or any of those. They're fine. What is Araxi doing on their final day of air quotes around school? Because it looks like they've been spending a lot of time with the Golden Swift Mercenary Company.
Yes, they have crossbow proficiency now, as well as buffed marksmanship.
Hell yeah! All right.
I also do not have properties on my hand crossbows, even though they're quality 8. I probably should have generic ones because I bought it.
I think the fact that they are hand crossbows and you can have one in each hand kind of is the property.
All right.
Because that's pretty crazy.
All right.
But yeah, that's awesome.
That's the property. Okay. That works.
Very good. Then back up to the top. What did Reggie learn in his last day at school?
Reggie is picking up some more propriety, and that's it.
Awesome. What is Leica doing on her last day of school?
Ooh. I would like to continue working on my psychic potential with Radico.
All right, and you don't even have to go out to his barge. Radico's right there at home.
I guess I can level up performance too, but I guess
Cool.
I'm going to focus on developing my psychic potential.
Have you learned any of the powers?
I have God crafting.
Awesome. Do you have any of the songs, like ancestral power or elemental power?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Well, let me see.
Because those are spells, so if you have esoteric education, you could just put them into a spell book and basically like sheet music.
I have esoteric education.
Okay.
But if I learn them as talents, don't I just know them?
Oh, you learn them as a talent?
If I don't, well, do you?
Yeah. If you just take them as a talent, then you know them liturgically. That means you've memorized them by heart. You don't need sheet music. You can just play them whenever.
Ooh, okay. I will review and make some choices.
Awesome. Andre! Alright, so I'm going to warn you about this since we are about to get into a situation. If Henri does train with the Moon King and take some psychic damage, there's a reason I have that set at 3, which is that you heal 2 at night, which means you'll be at a deficit of 1. It's your call if you want to do that.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking through what I might want to do. So that training with the Moon King would be if I wanted to learn another spell, quote unquote.
Yes. Additionally, you may notice that the Moon King can teach you any skill or aptitude or talent. Like, the Moon King can pull anything out of their ass to bring you that knowledge, but there's a psychic cost to receiving it. Whereas if you just actually go and learn it at school, you don't take damage.
So something I was thinking about is how it might be useful to have some sort of item that can absorb tax, kind of like the staff. But I was thinking what that could be, and I don't know if this is possible, but maybe we can retcon that Henri took one of those stone dolls, if they're not too heavy to like carry around, and have that be like a totem. one of the stone dolls that the Moon King had created from the rock.
So you can get one of those stone dolls easily enough. I mean, honestly, like when communing with the Moon King, you could have just asked for one. Here's the trick. In order for that stone doll to have any amount of power, you either are going to need to pay money to have somebody craft it into like a staff or icon of some kind for you to use as a focus, or alternatively, there is a talent you can buy that lets you use any mundane item as a holy symbol.
I see. What's the name of that talent?
Great question. I know that Kyleel has it. Let me go find
Looking it up. I think it's esoteric focus. Maybe.
That sounds right. No. Esoteric focus is awesome, but that would be for using staves and wands. That it makes them renewable, so you can recharge them at night when you sleep.
Symbol. Maybe it's symbol.
Yes, that sounds right. And
Yeah. Kyleel has symbol.
Yeah, it's in the divine potential section. Yeah, that's what it is. Symbol.
I see. So, okay. So, yeah, either need to go to a crafter who can then make a focus, and then that would probably cost me money.
That would cost you money instead of experience. Symbol will let you use anything. It's completely mundane. It doesn't need to have any value. Although if it does have value, it gets some bonuses. But basically, yeah, it's just the quality of the material is all that matters.
So I know that if I craft it, the quality of the item will depend on how much money I have,
how much
basically.
money you throw at it, yes.
But if I get symbol, what would be the quality of the item?
If you get symbol, then the quality of the item is just the quality of its material, which is way cheaper to get.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to see is like, what's the better option for me as far as getting a higher having the item be as high quality as possible.
Can you take symbol?
I have the points for it.
It's prerequisite is.
Oh shit! I don't have
divine potential.
Well,
you have Eldritch. Is that the same thing?
The way the wiki is currently written, it's different. But in regards to the Moon King as your patron, no, it's effectively the same.
Oh, is Moon King wildcard? You have wildcard potential?
Moon King is not a normal entity. If you encounter other warlocks that are bound to like demons and stuff, they're not going to understand what you're doing. You're doing some kind of alienist magic that is, it just throws up question marks when people try and scan you.
Okay.
What is the crafting for a symbol? Like you mentioned,
with
crafting
symbol,
it.
Yeah, with symbol you can just make a crafting roll, and however many successes you get, that's its quality, and you're good to go. But you hardly need to spend money at all on it. It's really just you can reach into a dumpster, pull out a scrap of wood, carve it into a beautiful rendering of your deity, and you're good to go.
Typically needs to be like something of holy worth, right? But
I don't have any crafting points, so I think my best bet is actually to get someone to craft it for me. And I think Henri, knowing that Francis has a bunch of money, is going to take a loan out from him, if that's possible.
I loaded you guys up with money for a reason. I want you outfitted for this, so go for it.
Cool. Okay. So I'll go through the process of rolling to create a focus out of that one of those stone toys.
Cool. make sure you give it either battery or capacitor to be useful for you if you're going to be taking esoteric focus, or just in general. Those are the things you want to have on a good focus. And we're going to move on.
Cool. As far as the quality and the rolling and whatnot, I think I need to roll to figure out what the quality is going to be.
Yeah, so you're going to roll your resources first. That's going to give you your starting point, and then you can spend money to try and increase that. When you get to 6, your money costs are going to start doubling. So coins give you dice to roll. Gems are automatic successes. Pocket change are pips that can turn coins into successes if they're not enough. And yeah, once you need 6 successes to get to quality 6. You need 10 successes to get to quality 8.
Cool.
Once the economy returns to normal, gear of this quality will be almost impossible to come by too. So these are going to be important relics for your characters if we play as them as adults.
I'll just be making some rolls to do that, but you can carry on with the next person.
Next up is Glup. What is Glup learning in school on this final day?
With his decent amount of scoring points he currently has, he's going to first learn Agility 4, and he's going to have increase his Investigation to 3.
Awesome. Kofric. What is Kofric learning?
I mean, everything. No, I don't know, what can I learn in this time?
So Kofric has enough experience points and character points to get 3 talents if you wanted to. You could also dial up the skills, and although I think a lot of the skills look like they're already raised up pretty nicely.
I erased some from the last one, essentially. And so now it's like, now he's sitting on...
It would only take 6 experience to turn that pharmacist into a real pharmacist that you have. And you'd still have enough experience and character points to get 3 more.
Yeah. I guess it's just if I'm pushing in that direction, which does sound interesting, it's trying to figure out what's the most useful right now, which a lot of things are useful, but they don't really get...
Does Kofric have datal potential?
I was giving him datal, but I didn't I didn't give him a specific datal yet.
Oh no, that's okay. So like if you're going down an engineering route and you've got some datal potential, then artifice is absolutely a viable thing. So that would be a great talent for him to have. And then you could go, like, if you wanted just some basic utility stuff from that same kind of pool, identify is useful. Let's see.
I don't know if he has enough to get. How would that work? Artifice. Let me see. He has 3 engineering.
So you only need like 2 more engineering to have that capped out, which is relatively inexpensive given the huge pool of points you have available to you right now. And then you could drop Artifice. If you got 1 more datal potential, you could get Identify. That only has a prerequisite of 2. And then there's lots of other cool stuff. Jury Rig is like a good just general engineering crafting thing.
Yeah, so the engineering and datal. Artifice makes sense, and then he's left with 1 talent direction to go. But jury rig you can't do because you need crafting.
You only need a crafting of 2.
That's true, so that's 3 experience.
3 experience points, yeah. You could also get technical writing, which starts you down the path towards innovation and some other stuff. Technical writing is a good starting point if you're going to be like an inventor as a character. Yeah, my advice is either take Identify or Technical Writing as your other talent. Those skill improvements you've made are awesome. So there may be situations in this final encounter that you get to roll a lot of dice on. We shall see.
I had a quick question.
Sure.
Leica does not have very much money, but I don't think I have an instrument for them yet.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if I can donate funds from one character to another.
Absolutely.
And then what sort of dice do I need to be rolling in order to secure a nice quality loot?
So first you roll your resources. That's your starting amount, and then you start adding money into that situation.
Awesome.
Coins are dice, pips are from pocket money, and gems are automatic successes.
I rolled 2 out of 2 resources.
Okay, so you're starting with the ability to just get a quality 2 instrument, and then you can spend money if you'd like to get a higher quality instrument.
What's the maximum quality? 6?
Maximum is 6, but if you want to go above 6 right now, given the current war economy boom, you can spend 2 additional successes to get a quality 7, and 2 more successes on top of that to get a quality 8.
So I need to get a total of how many? 10?
You need a total of 10 successes to get a quality 8, 8 successes to get a quality 7, or 6 successes to get a quality 6.
Oh boy, okay, let me move some money around.
All right, moving along. What is Nest learning on their final day?
Nest bumped their empathy persuasion up. I'm at pretty good on talents with
Awesome.
them.
Scrolling back to the top of the list, Shari, our aquatic elf friend. What has Shari learned on her final day of fishing and or swimming, or maybe playing war games in the basement of the shipwright's secret lair?
She picked up a bit of leadership.
Cool. I love the idea of her becoming like a games master down there. Alrighty. Trumpy! What has Trumpy learned on their final day? Are you still working on Leica?
Yep. I've gained an additional 5 successes, so that's 7 successes total. I just need 3 more to max out.
Alright, do you have any precious gems?
I do have precious gems. I will spend 3
A precious gem
gems.
will give you that 8th success,
I will do
which
that.
will give you a quality 7.
Well, hang on a second.
If you do 3 more precious gems, you'll be at 10 successes for quality 8.
I will use 3 then.
Alright.
Actually, I'm going to go back to Ness real quick. I want them to have a shield as well. So Roxy is just going to donate some funds to Ness.
Okay.
I assume I can't use a Roxy's discount, but
Correct. But yeah.
Yeah.
You can share the money.
Being a Q8 item, does this loot have special properties?
Yes, you can apply up to 2 properties to it.
Can't you apply 4? Half the quality?
You can. Yeah. I'm trying to move things along.
Oh, yeah,
I
sorry.
have more
I just was...
content I
I
want
can
to
handle
get
that
to,
on the back end.
So I like to get through this.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be done right now. I just wanted to make sure because I was planning on doing that with my character.
Cool.
I put a note in the comments around Henri incurring composure tax to learn Inui's touch.
Okay.
He didn't spend any XP yet. He had just spent money on the focus, so.
I'm going to pull up Andre's character sheet real quick.
And I didn't recover the tax yet from the 2 that I taxed to my potential because I wasn't sure if we slept yet, I guess, between adventure and school.
You had. So you got 2 back. And you'll get 1 more sleep before Shit View Fan.
Wonderful.
Alright, so we need to get through Trumpy. Ooh, Trumpy also has a pile of experience to spend there.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend probably raising some of Trumpy's relevant aptitudes. You have made Trumpy a badass scholar, but Trumpy could very easily have much higher aptitudes with all the points you've got. Awesome.
That's pretty good. Still have points left over, though.
Yeah, you could absolutely make Plunder and Treasure Hunter real with the points you have. You've got 3 experience that can make Plunder real, and you've got 2 character points that can make Treasure Hunter real.
I think I'll just make that happen.
Cool, cool.
I also need to find a way to level up crime at some point, but that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Okay, moving on from Trumpy, we've got Zara. What is Zara learning in her final day at school?
So she is going to try again for esoteric channeling, and since she last tried it, she leveled up her scholarship to 5, just to give a little extra dice. That right now.
Am I missing something?
So close. All right. I am gonna have to figure out some things for her to spend points on.
Did you have any pips from like your costume for that role?
My costume is Randy Gearhands, so maybe I guess if you could argue that she's channeling his energy.
Randy Gearhands is an engineer. Like 100%, like understands scholastic things. He may be volatile in nature, have a crazy temper, and blow things up, but it's absolutely scholastic knowledge that Randy Gearhands has.
Cool. Okay. In that case, that I think pushes me over then, because I had my costume's 4 pips.
All right. Good.
Yay.
Cool. Next up is Kyleel.
Kyle got a couple things. He got he picked up ritual, and he increased his focus to 2. And I think he raised his persuasion to 3, and that's it.
Very nice.
I'm having some issues figuring out how to, in my sheet, balance everything out. Because, like, definitely
Is this on Trompy's sheet?
Yes.
Oh, right. Because you had burned these. Okay, got it. There you go.
Thank you.
Why is it not letting me put -1 in this? Oh, it's just a 1. Never mind. It does the minus automatically. Okay, there we go. Fixed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We've discovered the infinite experience glitch.
Mina. What is Mina learning on her final day in the secret shipyard? And is she making any additions to her boat?
She's always making additions to her boat.
Good.
It's all she does, all the time. I'm not entirely sure. I'm thinking, but as an aside, or as a if it's part of this, whatever it is, she never got her costume, and I'd like to think that she just makes her own at some point. Because realistically, the only costume you need to represent Azafu is a mechanical mustache. And she should be able to make that because that's him.
Awesome. I love that.
So if that's what she does, because she never got her costume, that could be what she spent her time doing.
Cool. And then I see she's got 3 character points unspent, so you could totally give her another talent or boosts other things if you wish.
Yeah, she's in the weird state that Kofferson was in, where it's like she can go a lot of routes for engineering.
Or you can save them to use on the fly during the adventure.
Yeah, I think hers might make more sense to be on the fly, but she definitely wanted to. I want the costume for her, so.
Alrighty, and finally, Wampy. What has Wampy learned on their final day of meditation?
So I've been stuck because on one hand, unfortunately, you did not list esoteric improvisation as a thing Wappy could learn via meditate. Which is the thing I want.
You know what? That's okay. As a final thing to learn, I think that's okay.
Oh, alright. In that case, that is what Wappy learned.
Alrighty. And then, so that I believe that concludes it. Is anyone not finished updating their characters to be ready for the final event?
I probably have some more to do with Zara. Because she's got a spell book, and I'm thinking she has 2 spell books and one that doesn't have any spells in it yet. So I'm thinking of attempting to pass some tests just to put some extra spells in there, especially now that she has esoteric channeling. So yeah, I just need to see what might be possible, because some of these are things that like she doesn't have the prerequisite for, like crafting a mundane item, for example.
Does she have access to the supervised casting practice?
Yes. Yeah, so I think I can just look at any of the spells there, basically.
Yeah. Load up on those. And she also passed combat's spell safety training.
Yep.
An awesome set of spells there, too.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go with that. So I'm going to cast Shield to try and see if I can get armor.
Zara's already enrolled. You don't have to pass any tests.
Oh. Yeah. Cool. Sweet.
Her name is listed on the past enrollment test list here, right?
Yeah, I did. All right, I thought I might need to pass the test again.
No. Once you pass the test, you're in the class.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I'll load up on those spells then. And that'll be all.
Awesome. All right. The morning gets ready to dawn. Some of the kids are up at like 4 a.m. Again, like the fishing guild starts shit early. And those are the first ones to notice that something's wrong. There's no breakfast on the table for you. There's a basket. It's got some berries and nuts in it, but nothing's prepared. There's dishes in the sink that haven't been cleaned. That's very unusual. It's like Miss Maybell has not come down from her room yet.
collectively go investigate her room?
That's a good plan. Miss Mabel is very safety-minded. She does not lock the door. You are able to simply open it. She is in bed. Her eyes are closed, but she is twitching as though in pain. Coddle's actually also in bed with her, also asleep and also twitching as though in pain. You can wake up the other kids if you want assistance with this.
Who's there currently?
Anyone that wakes up at 4 a.m. for Fishing Guild stuff. So that'd be Shari.
Can I say Araxi just does this even though they're now going to the...
Oh yeah, certainly. Araxi is part of that early shift. And Mina as well.
Who was the... Who are our medical people?
Francis is one.
I mean, Mari, but she's dead asleep. Shari's there, though.
Shari's there for sure.
No, there's like some people who like have like full medicine or something like that. I just don't remember their names. But Araxi basically just scampers, runs through a door. It's like, wake up, wake up, wake up.
All right. Everybody wakes up. You're
sure
all
I'm
available.
understanding this
You in the process of waking everybody up, find Radico awake but focused heavily. Galista is sitting cross-legged in front of, just inside of the door to Radico's room, like she was guarding the door, but she is passed out and twitching as though in pain. And Radico looks like he's fighting some kind of psychic battle.
We kids aren't being affected?
You kids are not being affected, and you don't have much difficulty figuring out why. Every single one of you is wearing a magical bracelet gifted to you by sappers, and those bracelets are currently glowing. Runes are sort of crawling across their surfaces with glowing light, and that seems to be protecting you at the moment. Radico is able to grunt out, like, I can just barely hold on. I can't protect anyone else. But Radico is not very functional at the moment.
Okay. So I am really glad I got Ness shield. Because one of the properties I put on that, if I could find it here, is Sanctuary.
Ooh.
So I don't know if I'm able to AoE this necessarily around people, or if I could just, or if it just works on me possessing the shield.
It's a you possessing the shield thing.
Okay, so it's you possessing the shield. So Nest is going to take off the ring and immediately attack Sanctuary, if that's possible.
You find that the bracelet is unable to be removed from your wrist. It appears to be gripping you in a magical nature, unwilling to let go.
If you had something like take one for the team, you could probably use Sanctuary for the party. But it will be expensive.
Tice, did you have
one? Yeah, I was thinking Elros wants to hold on to the bard's hand. See if like spells tend to affect other people as one person. Seeing if he holds the bard's hand, the bangle might affect him as well.
Yes, holding the bard's hand, the power of the bangle is for a moment unable to interpret exactly what's going on, and so it just assumes that the two of you are one person. And it relieves the attack on the bard, and he sighs and really says, "Thank you. I think, though, it'll be better served if you go find Miss Mabel and hold her hand. I can at least protect myself. Something is attacking us, and it seems like it's trying to rip away our souls."
Sure, he says, well, I don't know much about souls, but that doesn't sound good.
All right.
Accurate as always, Shari.
Sorry to cut in. I lost internet again. I'm on my phone.
No worries. Elros grabbed Radico's hand, and because Elros's tangle has an effect where it makes magic items unable to tell the difference between him and what he's touching, he managed to extend the protection of the bracelet onto Radico. But Radico said, "I can protect myself. Just go and hold Miss Mabel's hand and try and rescue her."
Yeah, I'll go run after to get Miss Mabel then.
All right. Miss Mabel snaps awake as soon as you have her hand held. Pulls up his, "What is happening?"
Mind attack. Hold my hand or else you'll go back under again.
It's like, "Okay, is it everybody?"
Everyone's bangled okay. Point to the person beside her. Not okay.
Says, "All right. Here's what I want you to do. Keep your hand on me. I have to carry Coddle outside." So she picks up Coddle and carries him out into the front yard, gets a wheelbarrow from the garden and puts Coddle in the wheelbarrow. And then she sits down next to Coddle in the wheelbarrow and says, "Okay, I know you don't want to have to do this, but you're going to have to let go of it. It's going to suck for me, but once you let go, you need to run inside and get Gallista. Protect her from whatever this is, and have her carry Radico and this wheelbarrow with me and Coddle to the Magic University and find out what's going on. Can you do that?"
Yes.
"Keep all the kids with you. It's important we all stay together." "Okay, I'm ready. Put me back under."
I guess reluctantly he'll let go of the hand.
She
Around
passes
the-
out and starts twitching again.
Run to find the giant scary lady.
You find the giant scary lady, and when you put your hand on her, she stands up so fast that you lose contact and she falls over again. But eventually you get sorted out. She is grateful. Says, "There is villainy afoot." And she just picks up Radico by the back of his shirt and carries him out. And plops him down on the wheelbarrow and begins pushing the wheelbarrow out into the street and looks around and goes, "Where are we going?"
And at this point, I'm going to be on her shoulder so I can hold her head, just so I make sure to hold onto contact.
Is anyone wrangling the rest of the kids?
Nest would be.
All right, are you going to get them all to go together?
As much as a slightly older child can wrangle 18 children, yes.
Are anyone going to break away from the group and not go with them to the university? Anyone going to be a rebel in this time of emergency?
Absolutely not.
All right. The sun is just barely peeking over the horizon, casting long shadows across the city. But it seems like, from what you can hear, this is not a problem local to the orphanage. It seems like everyone in the city has been knocked out except for you kids. They're all in pain, struggling in their beds. As you push through the city, you come a couple blocks away to a place where you see a very strange creature standing in the middle of the road. It kind of looks like a golem, but it's not made out of a single material. Instead, it seems to be made out of just scraps of city. There's like cobblestone mixed with glass from windows and tiles from rooftops. It turns and kind of looks at you with these glassy eyes, and then it turns back to an alleyway where you hear the growl in a high-pitched growl that you recognize as Mangara and Raska. And you'd hear the whimpering of what you recognize as Bibin. The creature looks like it's getting ready to attack them. I'll remind you, it's not a creature made of flesh, but of some kind of animate bits of city. But yeah, go for it.
Let me see here. Well, I don't have any of the beads for my shield because they are not included.
You could have grabbed some from the refrigerator on your way out.
How many?
You know what? Make a.
I'm gonna say because shit's going down. Maybe I was like, I'm gonna scoop up a bunch, but
Yeah, make a.
How big are your
agility-
hands?
Make an agility plus resources check. Cool, you've got 4. Are you going to activate one of your shield's modes?
I'm thinking about it here just to protect the cubs.
Ness certainly is going to basically just put themselves in between the cubs and this monstrosity.
I will spend a marble for shield, which is a protective bubble against magical and physical attacks, I believe.
It is. You find that within the shield, Miss Maybell and Coddle come too. And there's kind of an effect of lightning around the outside of the shield, as whatever the spell effect is trying to push through it. So there's a bit of a light show above you. It seems to be coming from above, somehow. Nest, you're in the way of the creature?
Yes.
Cool. If nobody else is doing anything, the creature charges Nest.
All right.
Can someone put up a shield around Ness?
Ness could put up a shield around herself, but Ness will be fine. I'm pretty sure.
If you want a shield, I can throw one down. But it's up to you.
The creature swings for a 2-tax hit against you.
I'm not even going. Okay.
It's just trying to punch you with a piece of concrete.
Okay. And just actually, you know what? Nah, Ness will just avoid it.
All right. I mean, swings, misses, stumbles a bit. Does not seem to entirely have its footing yet. It has the demeanor of a freshly created creature that hasn't quite mastered walking, but it's made of invulnerable material, so it doesn't have any real consequences to stumbling. Though while the material may be highly durable, the connections between it may be tenuous if a blade is skillful enough. Did anyone else want to take actions against this creature?
Are we all there? Like everyone?
All 18 children are there.
Jesus.
But it's understandable that you would be like stunned to inaction by this completely out of the normal experience. So,
Are these connections like visible, or are they?
Without any magical aid, they do not appear to be visible until you put up barriers, and then you see the connections where they try to fight the barrier.
Would god crafting be useful in this time of need?
Potentially. You do have an actual Faithanok hero who would 100% believe in any god you care to craft. Galista is powerful, and her belief flows.
Can I craft the spirit of Celebre?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, how would I go about that?
So you will be rolling your esoteric psychic ability plus your empathy and your performance.
Holy shit.
Nice. So this is what that result looks like as Galista goes to attack this creature. Galista calls out to this spirit of the city that you've just sung to her about, and says, "Creature, you are not of the city. You are merely made of its parts, but the spirit of the city sings strong and true." And with the spear that she keeps on her back, she leaps into the air, comes crashing down on this creature, doing just a ridiculous amount of damage to it, sending its parts scattering, and then she collapses to the ground because she's no longer in contact with Elrus. The bits of the creature are, like I said, scattered, but it looks like they're starting to roll back together very, very slowly. The cubs rush out of the alley, seeing the creature destroyed, and by instinct leap into the wheelbarrow where Miss Mabel is, saying, "Something's wrong with Mommy! Something's wrong with Mommy!" You see, of course, the cubs are also wearing the same bracelets that you guys have. Elros, are you going to go get Galista up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
All right, so Gallista's back up again. It looks like you guys have an opportunity to flee before this creature reforms.
We should probably consider doing that.
yeah.
All right, so everybody starts heading further up the street towards the university. The university starts to become visible before you can actually see the building, as some kind of magical shield around it is under attack by what look like invisible blasts of lightning. You see the ripples of their hits against the shield, but the shield itself is not illuminating where these blasts are coming from. Coming inside the university, you can see sort of the edge of the shield barrier, and on the other side are students motioning you to quickly come across it. It's safe. It won't stop you. Come on.
Let's all go into the safety of the school shield.
So getting everybody across the shield, finally, like, they're able to get up. Miss Maybell gets up. She says, "Okay, you did great, kids. Whatever that attack is, it's taken something from me, and it hasn't given it back. Being in the shield has not recovered whatever it's taken. Radico informs her, it's been taking part of your soul. It's seeping our soul out. I've been fighting it since I detected it in my dreams."
I'll ask because I saw the cubs were being in distress. Like, where was your mom?
He says she was at home in bed. We got scared. We heard noises, and we went to find her, but she wouldn't wake up.
Callista, can you come with me and we can go rescue their mother while the rest talk?
Callista agrees. She's immediately up for an adventure, and she says, "Come, Newbard," gesturing to Leica. Are you going to go with him?
Yeah.
All right.
God damn, that's a lot of dice.
Yeah, I mean, she rolls 10 dice on an attack because she's got a vigor of 5 and 5 melee, and you just gave her 5 more dice. That's what happened. Like, yeah.
That is insane amount of dice.
Welcome to Godcrafting. I mean, you've done this before. You played as Harvey.
I know, but it's been so long.
This is what true power feels like.
All right. So while you guys are going to pick up Mrs. Burtail, everyone else heads into the university where they find the deans are gathered not in like some great meeting hall. They're gathered down in the basement, actually, or the ground floor, in like a big common area. Lots of students are around and worried. Delterra is laying out on a couch, but she waves her hand in the air. It's like, "I'm okay this time. Just exerted myself to get the shield up." Apparently, from what you can tell talking to the other mages, she had detected the attack before it actually started. But coming up to talk to her, she kind of panting and out of breath says, "Yeah, I was thinking about Henri's dream. Henri, do you remember the 4 pillars in your dream?"
Yes, I do.
Said, I do too. Remember I told you that Inui doesn't do metaphors.
I see.
I got kind of tricked into thinking that was a metaphor for the biokinetic, but then I started thinking about it and realized that that's not how Inui sends messages. Which means that when Inui looks at the city, Inui was literally seeing 4 pillars of elemental energy. And so I presumed there was some kind of an attack centered on positive energy, life magic, something like that. And so I started building a shield, and it hit as I was finishing. It kind of hurt. I think I'm okay, but yeah. This is bad. It's covering the city. She motions for somebody who's like, bring a map of the city. Says, I never saw your dream, so only you really know, but can you just point on this map where those 4 pillars were?
All right, yeah. So assuming Henri can remember that, He points out where he best remembers where those pillars were located.
I think we've established that memory is a scholarship plus cunning roll.
All right.
You do remember, but the better you roll on this, the more accurate your memory is going to be. You were dreaming about it every night for weeks.
Will the Moon King costume give me pips for this? Since
Yes.
it was a moon.
Yes, it
Okay.
will. Okay. So you mark out. You're pretty sure one of them was over the old rail yard. One of them was over the Crimson Barracks. One of them was in the middle of the harbor, and one of them was over the palace. And she starts sort of questioning about like which ones were which. She's like, well, the one over the palace was gold. That was a golden pillar. The one in the middle of the harbor was steam. The one over the rail yard was lightning, and the one over the Crimson Barracks was radiance, just a beam of light. Would anyone like to make any scholarship or investigation rolls on this information to see if you can glean anything before Delterra just tells it to you, to sort of show off your own skills in front of the adults?
Yeah, which one do you want me to make? Scholarship? I guess scholarship.
Scholarship and what perception?
A scholarship or investigation, yeah.
Yeah, but what aptitude?
Oh, cunning, for sure.
Cunning. Okay.
I'm gonna try.
I'm going to have.
I'm so sorry, Ed.
That's all right.
I'm going to have both Ness
Woo, ouch.
and Whoppy do this roll.
Oh, the dice don't like you. Oh, okay, there we go. There's a good one. Kristen, which of your characters is that?
That was Zara.
Okay. Zara has the best answer. So Zara, you recognize that these sort of 4 pillars and the way that they're positioned does pretty much cover the city, but they are in places where you know of some things that are going on. For example, the Pillar of Light is right over top of where that light tower is that was just erected. That had that very strange Applied Thaumaturgy Guild device attached to when some of the students were here recently. Yeah, you're not sure what's going on with the rail yard, but the gold pillar being over top of the palace is not super mysterious, since that's where the royal treasury is. There'd be a shitload of gold there. Now, the steam one is a little trickier. So it might really be Shari that only can figure out that answer.
Where was it?
It was in the harbor. Mina might be able to figure it out too. I would give you any of the ocean-born kids might be able to figure out what's going on in the harbor for the steam thing. Cunning plus scholarship if you want to make the roll. Kids that are water-based, it's only a difficulty 4 to figure it out.
That last roll was Mina's.
Oh, that was
cunning and
Mina.
investigation, if
Okay.
that counts.
Yeah.
She did 4.
Radico's rotten egg problem might not have been rotten eggs after all. It might have been sulfur fumes from a volcanic vent underneath his houseboat. that would create an underwater steam effect that would smell like rotten eggs on the surface. And the only mysterious one is the lightning thing, although the Petrish were scheduled to arrive, and Petrish do have some lightning technology, but this would have to have been something that was already present in the city. Presenting this information, Delterra is very impressed. He goes, hey, you've figured out where they are. That's excellent. So let me tell you what I figured out about the spell as I was fighting it. The spell is taking the souls of the citizens of the city for some reason. I don't know what the reason is, but I can tell you that if we just stop it, they won't get that portion of their souls back. What we need to do is reverse it. And in order to reverse it, we need to weaken the place where it's happening. We need to find it, of course, but we also need to weaken it. We need to weaken it by shutting down 3 of these 4 pillars and leaving the other one running. Because I have tried already on 3 separate occasions to teleport into where the spell is originating from, and I can't get past its barrier. But if you can weaken 3 of the locations, I can get past the barrier and try to reverse the spell so that everyone gets the portion of their soul that was taken back before we shut off the final one. And she looks at the kids like, how are you kids getting through the danger out there without succumbing?
Just pull up our
Nest
arm.
flexes like the wristband. These are given to us by a mage we helped a while ago.
She looks at it, her eyes glow as you realize she's turning on her toolkit to try and figure out how it works. And she goes, crap. I can't replicate that in time. I'm not going to be able to get it off your wrist without hurting you, unfortunately. He seems to have set it as a trap, not necessarily as a protective measure. That's really weird. I'm not sure what's going on there. Well, it is incredibly irresponsible as an adult to send children out there, but we don't have a choice. You're the only mobile asset we have. Definitely take whoever you can that can manage to survive out there. And she hands Bax a pouch with like 10 marbles and says, here, maybe you'll be able to keep an adult safe for a little bit. But there's a time limit on those things, so don't push it. Whatever's going on with Elros, that should be super useful, actually. If you could take that Faithanok woman with you, whatever her name is, she looks like she was very effective. And you see she's coming back with literally an entire skull warrior woman in full plate mail over her shoulder, just walking through the front door.
Is she single? I just need to know.
She is now, yeah. Beat, who grows from a brick, unfortunately died.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Gotta make it. Oh, jeez, that's sad, bro.
It is sad. Because they got split up trying to get the shield to Gunther.
Oh, that's right.
So she went with the team that actually kept the shield, while Beat with a Brick and Radico went a different route. They got split up. They ended up going a different route and tried basically just creating distractions to pull attention away from Gallista's team that went in with the shield. And then after Moonfall, Beat with a Brick was killed by assassins that were meant to kill Gallista. They just went the wrong direction because they had a very effective distraction. And yeah, Radico came home alone with... He has still the bracelet that they had made together during their adventure. So yes, technically she is single. Go for it.
I mean, these are all children.
They are children. Don't go for it.
Ugh.
You can crush on people. It's
I don't.
Make a new character, then go for it.
Yeah, for sure. No, it might be one of those like I am dazzled by this incredible like giant woman. So admiration is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. So this is basically the mission. There's 3 targets. You're going to need 3 teams. So what I'm going to want everybody to do for our next adventure is figure out how you're going to split up your characters, which targets you're going to go after. Remember, you only need to go after 3 of the 4 targets. So you can pick which ones you want to deal with. There may be some significant amounts of combat, and a little bit of research ahead of time could reveal what challenges await you in the different positions. You're pretty sure that the rail yard, you'll encounter the Petrish, which are not hostile to you guys at all, and also would not necessarily be affected by any of the soul magic shenanigans. So they may actually be very valuable allies. So sending good diplomats to negotiate with them and get their help could be a very potent thing in that direction. But everywhere else, it sounds dangerous. Oh yeah, and the steam one is underwater, so you definitely need to send a underwater capable team in that direction.
Also, we got a boat.
Yeah, I'm thinking almost like whatever we think out of the 3 besides the Petrus one is the least difficult one. We leave that one to be the one that closes it. But like the one going underwater should be done first, so that we don't leave that the last one and being like.
We only need 3.
Correct.
But we're gonna, yeah. But they talk about getting the 4th one closed to stop the spell.
No, we don't need them.
What's still
we don't need
reverses
to do the
it.
4th one.
We don't have to do the 4th one.
Once you have 3 of them contained, or turned off, basically, Delterra can teleport through the barrier and try and reverse the spell.
And so we're basically trying to contain the pillars that are creating this energy?
Correct. We're gonna end here pretty soon, but I wanted to give you all sort of that preview of what's to come. As we're in a crisis moment, the city is in peril, and it all lays on the shoulders of these 18 children that must divide into 3 teams of 6.
How convenient.
How convenient.
Meta-wise, do I have, not to break what the story we're doing, but is there enough time to do something like identify an artifice on the Bengals?
Sure. While you're doing that, some people can climb up onto the roof and try and get a look across the city and see if you can figure out what the challenges might be for the palace and the light spire.
Actually, I'll do that. I'll actually go to like the very tippy top of the roof to get the absolute best angle.
Especially since you can like just jump up and float.
I'm assuming that makes it that's an acrobatics to get all the way up there, because I have an idea of it in my brain as having like a very long spire at the top or something.
Yeah. You also have Chompy, who can just turn into a bird as well.
Well, be good, but
Or Wonky, yeah.
So first we'll deal with the identify, and then we'll deal with the spire. Are you using an identify skill, like a talent?
Yeah, the identify talent is just what? It's burn a potential. Tells me how it works.
Cool. So the way this bangle works is that the bangle, it's got some layers to it. There's a basic, like, general spell resistance layer. Then there's a layer behind that is specifically designed to protect you against this specific spell. Then there's a layer behind that that's built around preventing the bangle from coming off, which functions in the following steps. Step 1, lock itself and just hold its physical position. Step 2, if threatened by magic, grow roots into your arm that wrap themselves around your bone. Step 2 has not been triggered yet on anybody's bangles, but it's there. So if somebody tries tampering with this with magical means, you may find it quite painful, but very non-lethal. It does have all kinds of things to prevent this damage from being life-threatening, even if it is painful. You can surmise from this that for some reason it's incredibly important to the creator of these bangles that this spell not harm you in any way.
All right, I can share that, sadly, with everybody else at some point. So that second layer was, so I know that the layers, but I know that the second layer was specifically this spell. So do I know anything about what that is, or did all I know that it stopped it?
What you can tell from that is that whoever created the spell also created these bracelets. Because the creator of this bracelets knew specifically that this exact specific spell would be cast on you.
So it's sappers then.
It's zappers.
It's
Whopping
zappers.
It's zapper.
Okay, that's the information, I guess. Son of a bitch.
From the rooftop, you see two things. So to the northeast, where the spire is over the Crimson Guard barracks that they use for signaling, that was, you recently found out about. You see creatures forming of city stuff on the ground start forming themselves out of bits of like merchants' tents and flapping those things like wings and gaining flight. And it's like they're becoming gargoyles made out of city pieces that are starting to fly around that tower guarding it. To the southeast, you see the great dome of the palace, and it takes a moment before you realize that there's something almost as big as the palace moving, like some giant kaiju version of these city parts golems has formed over there, and it appears to be fighting with somebody, but that somebody is a person size, so you can't make out who it is. You do also see that Radico's houseboat is just kind of covered in a little layer of fog now. And that's it. That's where we're leaving off. We will pick up next time, where you'll split into teams, and we'll, one by one, run your 3 teams through their adventures for whichever of the targets you choose to go after. Does everybody feel like they've got their characters ready for this?
Yes.
Solid, was it Final Fantasy 3 split where you're like, I didn't put enough experience into that one?
Ready as we'll ever be.
Yeah, I know Gluff will be part of Team C.
Team C is an interesting proposition, because if you decide to go that route, not everyone has a character that's underwater capable.
Yeah, but not everybody has a character who has a boat. Just saying. Don't forget I have a boat.
You've got a boat.
And also, it's not like we cannot go like steal a submarine or anything from some area.
Who says my boat isn't a submarine?
But of the resources you have available here at the university, Pavan is here to brew you potions if you need it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, whoever goes on, if we end up doing that one, we can always get a potion for going underwater for who needs it.
Cool.
Cool. I'm gonna get some sleep. I gotta go.
Yeah, this one went rather late, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Have a good night. We'll pick up next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.